Students of DPS Navi Mumbai, I want to welcome you to this Australia and New Zealand Overseas Education Fair. First off, I just want to say a couple of thank yous. I want to thank the principal of your school of DPS Navi Mumbai for giving me the permission and allowing us to do this webinar for you. We've put in a lot of effort to try to make it as good and as enriching and as informative as possible for you. And in a very special way, I also want to thank Anindita Madam, who has gone out of her way to support me on making this possible. I see more than almost 250 students who've joined, and I hope that we will be able to make this as enriching and as informative for you as possible. I know a lot of you are looking to study in Australia and New Zealand for various kinds of courses, and I want you to make the most of this webinar. We have kept this webinar as an interactive webinar, which means that you will be able to unmute yourself in the Q&A sessions for each of the presentations. I will share my screen and I'll just briefly introduce the universities to you. So once again, welcome everybody to the Australia New Zealand Universities Fair. We have 5 universities presenting to us today. The first is Lincoln University from New Zealand. The second is Victoria University from New Zealand again. The third is, there are two New Zealand universities and three Australia universities. I'm sorry about that, and 3 Australia universities. Okay, so so I said Lincoln University and Wellington, Victoria University of Wellington, and then we have the 3 Australia universities. The first will be University of Tasmania, the second is the University of Western Australia, and the third is Swinburne University of Technology. Now, for some of you who may not be aware of these universities, all of these universities, as you would have seen in the brochure, rank in the top 1% of universities around the world. Lincoln University and Victoria University are in the top 300 in the world. Tasmania and Swinburne are in the top 350 in the world. The University of Western Australia is ranked 86th in the world. Okay, so you're going to get access today and be talking to the representatives of the universities from the top-notch universities in Australia and New Zealand. The flow of the webinar will be, there will be 45 minutes for each university, of which the representative will talk to you and present to you the courses about the university, about the country, about the courses. And then you will have about 15 minutes at the end to ask questions, okay? Now, I know some of you have asked some questions. So the general questions I will ask the university and they will respond. We will not have time to take everybody's questions, unfortunately. However, we will take as many questions as possible, but you can get in touch with us separately. I will put our contacts in the email in the chat box very soon. Okay, this screen shows you our contact details. You can screenshot it or take a picture. I will put it in the chat box, and also I will be sending it across to Anindita ma'am so she can share it with you. You can get in touch with us for more information if you want to connect separately to the university and take your application process forward. Okay, the main points that will be covered by the universities are about the courses, the entry requirements, the scholarships. And some of you have asked me for specific courses like science courses, medical courses, etc. So universities are going to be touching on that. Feel free to unmute and ask questions only in the Q&A. Till that time, I would request all of you to please keep yourself on mute. Keep your videos off so we do not have bandwidth issues. And we also will be able to try to interact with you as much as possible. I hope your parents have also joined since it's being a holiday. I can see close to 300 students who've joined now. And I hope that we can make this as informative and as enriching to you as possible. I know that you had webinars from the US, the UK, and Canada. For the first time, you're having webinars from Australia and New Zealand. So please pay a lot of attention. Now, you all are students, you like a little fun. So I'm going to be if you're paying close attention to the webinars, I'm going to be running a couple of polls, okay? After the New Zealand presentations and after the Australia presentations. So the answers are all in the presentations and what the universities will speak. So please make notes, pay it with good attention so you can win some goodies in the polls when we do that later. Okay, so I'll introduce our first university. So this is Lincoln University from Christchurch. Christchurch is located in the South Island of New Zealand, and they are represented by the Asia manager for international students. Her name is Annie Ko. She's located and she lives in New Zealand in Christchurch, and she will talk about this beautiful university. I'll just give you one little thing. They are ranked in the top. They are the 18th in the world among the small universities. There are different kinds of rankings. They are ranked 18th for the small universities. Over to you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Hi, how are you, everybody? Namaste and kia ora, and I think it's good morning. Yeah, my name is Annie. I just thought today I've been suggested to talk about my science program, and so I hope that we'll get the opportunity for you to take some questions. I don't know what's happening here, but anyway, so as Amato has said, that this is the map of New Zealand. What you can see here is it's the map of New Zealand, which you'll be able to see the island, which is of the North Island and the South Island. So today we have Andrea from Victorian University of Wellington, and the capital city. Will talk to you later. But I'm from the South Island. So coming from Mumbai, you will be able to travel with Singapore Airlines, Mumbai, Singapore, Christchurch directly post-COVID. Now, there are a couple of things I want to mention about why New Zealand as a destination. Firstly, we are a country of 5 million, small, but with strong attitude.
Annie, you're a little soft. Could you speak a little louder? It's a kind of soft.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me better?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just say, firstly, if you think about why New Zealand, I think there are a few good reasons. The first thing I quite like is that as a country of 5 million people, we have 8 universities. They are all ranked top 500 in the world. And we all have our own specializations, yeah? And you can talk to Albito later about what university suits you better. As I discussed today before, we have Lincoln University, a specialist university from the South Island. You will also see Victoria University of Wellington from the North Island shortly. Now, I'm just going to say why Christchurch, why South Island, yeah? Firstly, we are the largest city. Christchurch is the largest city in the South Island. We are also the gateway to the South Island. Yeah, and if you can see here, we have the second largest international airport. We are also the gateway to Antarctica. So it's a fantastic city to get around. Just like Mumbai, we are by the sea. So you can actually see us within half an hour's drive. You can travel from our campus to the beach. You could also, from our campus to the airport, for example. And within 6 hours drive, you can go to Queenstown. During winter, 1.5 hours drive, you can go skiing. Yeah. I'm just going to see if I can play this video, and this will give you an idea about what Christchurch is like. Yeah. Oops, hang on.
Yeah, if you can enable your sounder also.
Yeah. you an idea about what our city look like. Now, I know all of you will be following Instagram. So if you follow Christchurch NZ, yeah, hashtag Explore Christchurch, hashtag Christchurch NZ, you'll be able to see some really fantastic updated images of our regions. And I would like to invite you at some stage of your life to come and visit our region and our country. Yeah. Albert, I'm just going to talk to you briefly about my university. So Lincoln University started in 1878. So what you can see on that beautiful building, that's how we started. It is our Ivy Hall. So when we started in 1878, that was our boarding school, but it also have our dining hall. That's how our students used to teach how to learn. They live and they sleep there. But over the years, our universities have evolved and expanded a lot of subjects outside agriculture. Now, we rank top 100 in agriculture. And if you are interested in the environmental science, for example, we are the only member of the Euro League of Life Sciences outside outside Europe, in Australasia. Yeah. So as a university, we started in 1878. We were the oldest school of agriculture in the Southern Hemisphere. We are the only specialist land-based university in New Zealand. And because of our heritage, our campus is half an hour from the city and located in a township called Lincoln. And 58 hectares of land. Beautiful, yeah. With our specialist nature and our history, we each year will welcome about 3,000 students a year and about 1,000 international students from 70 different countries. Yeah, so what's one thing I really like about Lincoln is that we have the best academic staff to students ratio. Essentially, one academic staff to 12 students. Agriculture and Life Sciences, Faculty of Environment, Society and Design, and also Faculty of Agribusiness and Commerce. So what you can see on the screen are the lists of the subjects that we offer at undergraduate degree, also up to postgraduate studies. So the area of specializations including agriculture, horticulture, and verticulture. But for whatever subjects that we teach, environment, looking after our environment, sustainable practice, being innovative are kind of our philosophy. Yeah. And today, the purpose of this seminar, I'll just like to quickly talk a few our bachelor programs, mainly focused on science. So this one thing, in case you are not aware of, in New Zealand, a typical bachelor degrees are 3-year studies. And there are some specialist degrees that are 4 years, or professional degrees are 4-year studies, but most of the bachelor degrees are 3 years. Yeah. So today I'm going to touch about agriculture science, food science, verticulture science, ecology and conservation, and environmental science. So one feature about Lincoln University is our industry connections. So for us, it's about how you apply the science or the knowledge into practice. So we encourage you to think, but we also encourage you to apply the theory into practice. So the critical thinking is underpinned by the crucial practical work. And we also encourage you to have some practicum, which is American term called internship, but we call it practical work. Yeah. So on the sets of our bachelor degree that contains science, we teach Bachelor of Science. You can have that biological and physical science focus. So there are flexibilities between these degrees. You can study, you can choose the electives from one and from one degree to the other degree. Yeah. So what you want to study is that you want the science that is really strongly applied to the field of the areas that you are interested in. For example, if you are interested in soil and water protection, that's something that you might be applying your learning into. There are also jobs out there, because often students will say, but would I get a job if I study environmental science? The short answer is yes. There are lots of areas you can get your jobs in. Yeah. So I'm going to feature the Bachelor of Science, which is you can have a major in food science, environmental science, conservation and ecology, and as well as individual major. Yeah. So I'm just going to look at food science, for example.
So here at Lincoln University, we teach various courses in food science, but also wine science and agriculture. And personally, I teach the course called the Principles of Malting and Brewing, also known as the beer class, and food innovation. So a class that teaches students how to develop new food products, going all the way from product concept to the formulation and the commercialization. This is the only paper in New Zealand that goes through a whole semester and teaches brewing. So this will give a huge opportunity to students to jump in this growing sector and being some of the few in the country that have the knowledge to actually work and be successful.
I really rate the quality of degrees out of Lincoln for lots of good reasons. My one was very broad for a start, so it gave me a great broadness where I could go on and build from that. I think there is a lot of demand for science graduates from Lincoln in New Zealand. A lot of that is, of course, our agricultural background and our primary industry. A lot of it.
I'm just going to probably show you a little bit about the conservation and ecology at Lincoln University, just so that you can see a little bit something a bit different here.
Well, one of the big advantages of coming to Lincoln is that we do a lot more hands-on learning. So we get students out in the field as much as we can. We do a lot of practical stuff, and we also have a research presence here that the students can get involved with as well. One of the advantages basically of a Lincoln-based degree is that we teach practical skills, so that's attractive to a lot of employers, and so it means that students can hit the ground running. They're ready to go from day one. We also provide the theoretical to be able to jump into the job day one.
It's great to see, like, we get a number of students coming through, second and third year ones, as well as honours students and master's students. Then you see their interests get sparked, and it's just fantastic. Well, conservation is becoming much bigger in New Zealand with the whole Predator-Free 2050. Its new graduate conservation and ecology course is going to provide graduates that can help with community groups and with government agencies.
The reason it's so important to have a university degree behind you is that a lot of employers not only look for qualifications, but also it shows.
Sure. So one of the things about making your study quite useful is when you are studying we incorporate the practical components that will allow you to apply the learning. So for example, in the ecology field, you learn how to conduct field research so that you'll be able to learn how to really apply the science into real world. So whatever subjects that our students learn, they have transferable skills that allow them to have that critical thinking, communication, but most importantly, learn how to do the time management. So this is some of our students who are in the field doing some work. And same thing applies to environmental science, where, you know, the key thing for us is the sustainable management of our land are quite important. I think that applies to India as well. So what we have here, one thing I want to talk about is the our horticulture and oenology degree, which is another program that you might be interested in. It's a 3 years bachelor. It's actually our university's wine vineyard. So we are the first university in New Zealand that introduced a horticulture, which is to work with grapes, and oenology, which is learn how to make wine. So what you do is you learn about science-based vineyard and winery skills, and you will also have some industry practical work experience. I mentioned before, there are 3 a typical 3-year studies. This will just give you a 3-year structure of a bachelor degree. How we structure is 3 semesters that you study 4 subjects per semester and 2 semesters per academic year. And what our students have to do is also not only learn how to harvest, work with grapes and learn how to, harvest the grapes, learn how to look after the grapes. You also learn how to make your own wine, work together with other students. So we take you onto a few tours and field trips so that you actually understand how the industry works, what the industry what an industry look like. So I'm going to stop sharing
Yes.
and take
Okay.
questions.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anybody who wants to ask questions? You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ved here.
What are the application deadlines for the university?
So for a university intake, we have 2 intakes a year. The main intake is February or July. Yeah. So you can start in July, but we also have a limited intake in November. So what with the current COVID situation, it is quite a little bit challenging. It depends on, say, whether you can actually travel from out of India, whether your government allowed you to travel and all of that. So there are some kind of some logistical issues for this current academic year. However, we have had some students starting their learning from overseas, so that they can actually travel when they are able to. So you can start, for example, when you finish your year 12, let's say next year in May, or you get your results. If you can't travel in time, you can start in July, but maybe travel to New Zealand in September, October, for example. So you can actually do that. So there are 3, but we do have main 2 intakes a year. Our academic year is a bit different from the United States. So United States intake starts in September. Our main intake is in November. It's in February. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Let's go ahead.
Ma'am, can you explain that 2 terms, vitology and oenology?
Yeah. So the horticulture, it means that horticulture means that is the science of grapes. Yeah. And oenology is the science of winemaking.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So for example, if you like chemistry, you like biology, and you don't like working inside, you like to work outdoor, you like to deal with people, you like travel. So, but you like to apply your science skill at the same time. The horticulture or oenology, it is a good program to do because our students, they learn the actual practical skills of how to work with grapes they visit the vineyard, they learn how to actually make their own wine. And often when they first graduate, they'll go what they call the vintage. So they'll go for a few vintages when they go to the say Europe to do one vintage, which is a season, and they come back to Australasia, including New Zealand and Australia, to do another season. Sometimes they go to North America or South America, or should I say countries that produce wine, including India as well. So that your winemaking skills improve as your should I say as your experience build. Yeah.
Annie, I just have a couple of common questions which students have asked us when they registered. So one is with regard to fees, and second is regard to accommodation facilities. Could you touch a little bit very quickly on those?
Okay. A standard tuition fees is a tuition fees for New Zealand. You need to budget approximately about, for the science degree, probably about 31 to 32,000 New Zealand dollars a year to but you need to budget another 15 to 18,000 New Zealand dollars a year to cover your living expenses. So that's approximate, if I say probably about 45 to 48,000 New Zealand dollars a year. I'm just going to share my screen, and I'll give it another go.
Yeah, so in Indian rupees, the fees would be approximately 14 to 15 rupees per year.
Yeah. So what maybe what I didn't cover is that one is the living expense, which I say is between 15,000 to 18,000 New Zealand dollars. But if you roughly US dollars, it's still approximately about 31 to about 33,000 US dollars a year, including living expenses and fees. We do have some undergraduate and scholarships where we have the Vice Chancellor Scholarship and Pathway and Undergraduate Merit Scholarship that students can apply for. But what probably for students who are listening today, who are interested in New Zealand, is that as a student, you can work 20 hours a week and you can work full-time during holidays. And if you finish your study with a bachelor degree, you can apply for up to 3 years of post-study work visa, which is an open 3 years open work visas after you graduate with a bachelor degree. And the minimum pay in New Zealand is $18.90 per hour before tax. So often students will get their first part-time job through their student job search center that's associated with our student association. So what you can see here are a few links which I will share with Mr. Alberto. So you'll be able to see things like career and employment information that, for example, let's say if you start with, I'm just going to share with this. So for example, if you are going to work as a viticulturalist working with grapes, what kind of entry-level pay that you might get per annum? Sometimes some students will be looking at technician. So this, for every of the subjects that we offer, there is a career summary that you can look at. I think what I want to finish with is that we are a specialist university. For us, we teach our students the relevant skills that is to do with the primary industry, or should I say the land-related industries. So for us, so what if you study agriculture? If you can't apply the skills, then you are not good enough. So our students need to be and actually able to apply the knowledge into the industry. So that's the kind of teaching that we offer, and hopefully that will give you some inspiration. I have Malika she's actually from studying with us. She's finishing in her second semester. Malika is in her first year Bachelor of Horticulture and Enology. She really likes to be a winemaker. For her biggest challenge is like you know, when you are going in through lockdown, you have to learn from home and you get bored from attending Zoom sessions, yeah, which I understand. So for Malika, she found it challenging when she first when she experiencing her first winter, where she has to get up in time and learn and attend classes through Zoom when it's really, really cold. Yeah. However, she's also a fantastic student where she has achieved A classes despite the challenges. So I hope that you will get that opportunity and show to others, show to your teachers and your parents that despite the challenges that you have this year, you are able to embrace the learning and excel and do well in the upcoming academic years.
So I would like to know, are you going to share this presentation with the students or through the school with the students? And
yeah,
also,
yeah.
And also, while you talked about science, you know, and what about in the field of IT? Because in the you know, BA science stream in India, there are students who also have you know, computer as one of their majors. So what about you know, in the field of IT?
Yeah, I understand, sir. What my university offers, we are a specialist university. So we have applied computing at the master level, but not at the undergraduate level. But don't worry, because I was those few bachelor degree that I feature was our specializations and also something a bit different from your traditional qualification. Because I think it's important to think more than just a traditional biotech degree or engineering degree if you have interest outside. Yeah, the IT degree you can. My next colleague who is coming into this presentation, Miss Andrea, she has I think computer science and AI study, which she will be able to share. New Zealand is a fantastic destination as a country, but what you will find as for amongst the New Zealand university is that because we are all government universities, for us, even though we might be competing slightly with each other, we do recognize that each of us have our own strengths. So what I've highlighted are some fantastic programs that might be of interest, and I'll share those PowerPoint with Mr. Alvito, and then there will be other fantastic subjects that might also be interesting for you as well, including IT and computer science.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just very quickly, Annie, we have about 3 minutes. Can you talk about entry requirements? This is a CBSE board school. Can you talk about entry requirements, English requirements? Very
okay. So for us, it's quite easy. If you have, we need you to have your CBS SC board minimum average of 75% to meet an English in 60% to meet the direct entry into our bachelor degree. And if your English achieve 65% in your year 12, then you do not need to provide IELTS or TOEFL. That will consider as English language at your English language proficiency.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so the way we structured the webinar, I didn't say this at the start. So Lincoln University is a specialized science and agriculture university. The next university is going to be more about IT, business, accounting and various other programs. And then the Australia University is also a specialist for medical programs, right? The MBBS that we have in India, something similar. So we structured the webinar to cover various fields of study. Now, the beauty of studying overseas, I always tell my students, is you can pick your specialization, what you want to do in life, and pick that university that is ranked at highest for that particular specialization. Right, and he said that they are among the top 100 for agriculture and the only one outside of Europe that is in the Euro League of Life Sciences. So that's the advantage of this university.
So you don't need SAT entry through SAT here?
No, for New Zealand universities, we do not.
Yeah, none of the universities, there is no university in Australia and the US that requires a SAT, so you can get in without the SAT, without an SAT. The scholarships will depend on the 12th standard marks. Whatever scholarships available will be purely a function of the 12 standard marks and individual scores.
I also want to say that also the scholarship value could change. So what I've suggested is happen like this year. There may be other scholarships that could be introduced in the next academic year. So so it is a really good idea to stay in touch with Alberto, because you will have those information for the right academic year. I just want to answer one question for Roshni, because if Roshni is studying her undergraduate degree in psychology in India and want to continue for further abroad, you don't need SAT, but you will need to think about why you want to study psychology and what stream. And what you can do, Rosny, is also talk to Miss Andrea, who is coming on from Victoria University of Wellington, because they have their psychology is ranked top 50 in the world. So you can be, they will be able to discuss that pathway later. Yeah. So for us, we do not need SAT. We, if you to show your English language proficiency, you can prove it through TOEFL, IELTS, Pearson test, or your English language in your year 12 at 65% and above. Yeah. On that note, Alberto, do you want me to leave the room?
Yes, before you go, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Annie, for this. You can share. I will share the presentation with you guys through Anandita Madam and through your principal. You will definitely get more information. I've put our contact details in the chat. You can feel free to get in touch with us and the office for more information. If at all you have to then connect directly to the universities via this Zoom platform, we will be happy to do that in batches. Okay, not individually, but definitely in batches, which I will talk to in details with your school. So please stay connected with them. Okay, thank you, Andrea. Okay, thank you, Annie, so much, and have a good day.
Thank you. Please take care and stay safe, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Good luck, everybody.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me introduce the next university. Like I said, the next university is Victoria University of Wellington. And Andrea is in, and Andrea McLeod is the International Regional Manager for Victoria University of Wellington. They are one of only 11 universities in the world that have a 5-star plus rating under QS rankings, okay? And the one of only 2 universities in New Zealand who have the QS plus rating from the QS World Ranking. Right, that is the only highlight I have for the university. Andrea will give you more details about the university, the rankings, the courses. They've got a very wide range of courses, like I said. So she will try to touch as much as possible. It will be a longer, maybe a little longer presentation, so a little time for questions. But like thanks, Julie. Yeah, Andrea, over to you. Yeah, sorry about that. We've been having a little bit. These are school kids. We'll expect that a little bit.
No worries, Alvido. Thank you. My son also does online schooling, so I've been seeing everything that happens in Zoom with the kids over the past couple of months.
Right.
So good morning, everyone. Namaste, kia ora, as we say in New Zealand. My name is Andrea. I'm the International Regional Manager for the university, and I look after the regions of South Asia and the Middle East. I'm actually based in Mumbai, so very close to all of you. Same time zone, so very easy to get in touch with me via Alvito, via your school counsellor. So I'm going to start my presentation, and I'm going to start with a short video about what it's like to study in Wellington. I hope it will display properly as per everybody's networks this morning, but it's not very long, so even if it's cracking, it'll be over shortly. Sorry.
I think your sound was off.
We can't hear anything.
Yeah, Andrea, you've not enabled the sound, so I think we'll move to the presentation.
Sorry, is the sound not coming through? All right, I'll just skip that. You can find it on our YouTube channel. So if there's, if you do wish to see it, just look up Victoria University of Wellington on YouTube and you'll be able to find it there. All right, so let's move on to the presentation. So Alvito did mention earlier that we are one of only very few universities in the world that have the 5+ QS stars for excellence. That does reflect that we have gained that recognition in a number of different categories that QS rates the universities on. So it basically reflects our excellence not only in teaching, but in the types of services that we provide to the students as well. So as a university, we're quite old. We were founded in 1897. We are ranked highly. We're in the top 3% worldwide, number 223 as per this year's QS. If I could just request everyone to please keep your mics on mute while the presentation's going on. Thank you. We also have 11 subjects in the top 100, others that are ranked in the top 150 or the top 200, etc. So depending on which subject you're looking for, we do have some fantastic choices for you, and I'll be going through the different faculties so that you can see exactly what is available to study at undergraduate level. We've got 3 campuses. They're all in a city in Wellington, so very vibrant, very cosmopolitan university lifestyle there. In terms of student numbers, about 22,000 students, of which 3,800 are international. And Indian students are my 5th largest nationality on campus. So a good number of students coming every year, many for postgrad, growing numbers in undergrad as well. So why choose Wellington? This would have been in the video, but unfortunately that didn't work as well as I would have liked. Wellington is the capital city of New Zealand. It's the 2nd most populated city after Auckland. Apart from being the centre of government, it also has a thriving IT sector. 25% of all IT jobs in New Zealand are based out of Wellington. It is the creative hub of New Zealand. So we have the film industry, we have the National Museum, we've got a great fashion industry, games design industry, all based there in Wellington. And it's a very friendly, very cosmopolitan, very diverse and welcoming city, very multicultural. People are nice, very easy to settle in there. And it's a safe city, regularly ranked amongst the most livable cities in the world and amongst the safest. So just some visuals of the university. That's the Hunter building on the main campus. This is the student hub on the main campus leading into the library. Our School of Business and Government, the Law School, which is right opposite the Supreme Court of New Zealand, and the School of Architecture and Design. So how do our degrees work? I don't know if Annie has covered this as yet, but basically in New Zealand, a bachelor's degree is usually 3 years in length. So there are some, some differences to this. So engineering is 4 years, law is 4 years. There's a lot of flexibility. You can choose to do one major, you can choose to do two majors, a major and minors, major and electives. You can also choose to do a conjoint program where you do 2 degrees at the same time, usually 2 degrees in 4 years. If you're combining law with another degree program, maybe 5 years for that one. So depending on what you want to achieve from your education, we can help you to structure your study plan. If you've got diverse interests, you want to do one major from one degree, one major from another degree, even that's a possibility. Just going to quickly take you through all our faculties. So we've got a great Bachelor of Laws, top 100 worldwide, leads to registration as a lawyer in New Zealand. It's not currently recognized by the Indian Bar Council, so please do keep that in mind, but we are working on gaining that recognition with them. So hopefully in future, you'll be able to gain a law degree with us and also come back and practice in India if you wanted to. The Bachelor of Commerce is definitely my most popular bachelor's degree for international students. I'm just going to highlight a few majors in there. If you study accounting, then it leads to your accreditation as a chartered accountant. You don't have to take those exams separately. We're the only university in New Zealand that teaches actuarial science. Actuaries are employed by insurance companies. They calculate risk. They need really good skills in mathematics. So if you're good at mathematics, you're looking for a slightly different career in that area. It's a good choice, very much in demand, very high salaries. We also have data science as an option in the Bachelors of Commerce. And one choice you might not have heard of previously is information systems. So studying information systems can lead you to a career as a business analyst. Business analysts are, again, in quite high demand, not just in New Zealand, but internationally as well. So potential choice if you'd like to do a Bachelor's of Commerce that leads to a very sought after career. In the Faculty of Architecture and Design, we offer 3 bachelor's degrees. To become an architect in New Zealand, it is a 3-year bachelor's degree followed by a 2-year master's for your registration. We offer architecture, interior architecture, landscape architecture. We're highly ranked in this area. We're very well known for being a very hands-on, very innovative, very modern architecture faculty. In the Bachelors of Design Innovation, you can see the majors that we teach there. One thing you may not be aware of is that New Zealand has quite a large film industry. Many of the Hollywood movies come to New Zealand for post-production, whether it was the previous Avengers movies or the upcoming Avatar sequels. They do get their post-production, their VFX, some of their filming done in New Zealand. So there are a lot of jobs in this area, and our university has fantastic industry with the companies that are based there. So if you're interested in VFX, animation, media design, etc., it's a good place to study. And the Bachelors of Building Science is similar to Civil Engineering Technology rather than the Civil Engineering bachelor's degree. So you can study construction project management, or you can study sustainable engineering systems, which is about designing, constructing, retrofitting sustainable buildings, green buildings. These 2 areas are also very much in demand in New Zealand. So humanities and social sciences, we have our Bachelor of Arts degrees in the top 1% worldwide for the humanities. We're very well known in this area. If you are looking for a liberal arts university, we would fit the bill. You can see all our lovely badges down below for the areas that we're highly ranked in. International relations and psychology are usually the most popular choices. English literature, criminology are also some areas that many international students come from. If you're interested in psychology, you have the option of pursuing it either under the Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. It's the same course structure under both. You usually pick the degree basis what you might want to take your other subjects in, whether you're interested in, say, doing psychology with sociology or psychology with statistics or a completely different area. We also have 2 other specialized bachelor's degrees in the Humanities and Social Sciences faculty, the Bachelors of Music and the Bachelors of Communication. Now, for most of our undergraduate degrees, we only need your 12th grade marks. We don't need portfolios, etc. But Music is the only area where this is slightly different. If you are intending to study either composition or performance, you will need to submit an audition link, and they might call you for an online interview as well. So just be aware of that. They do have certain levels in terms of the, the Trinity exams or the London College of Music exams that they would expect you to have reached before enrolling in a Bachelor of Music. The Bachelor of Science, you can see the options that we teach under this. For the students who are interested in IT, you could pursue this either under the Bachelors of Science or under our Bachelors of Engineering. So Bachelors of Science, the types of technological options that are open to you, you have computer science, computer graphics, you have data science, you've got it, next year is going to be electrical and electronics and renewable energy systems. If you pursue computer science under the Bachelors of Science, you can also do within it a specialization in either artificial intelligence or in cybersecurity. We also teach marine biology, very popular option for students alongside. Lots of specialized options in there in the sciences for students, depending on what you're interested in pursuing. If you would like to potentially stop the next COVID outbreak or otherwise work in medical research, then the Bachelors of Biomedical Science is the best choice. That does lead to a career as a medical researcher. And the Bachelors of Health is focused more on the allied or the administrative areas of healthcare. So whether you're interested in informatics or software development for health, or even in health psychology, public health, these are the types of areas you can go into via the Bachelors of Health. It's not a medical degree, it's the allied areas of that industry. So now education. After the 12th grade, you can do a Bachelor's of Education in Early Childhood Teaching, which will lead to registration as an early childhood care teacher. In order to be a primary or a secondary school teacher, you would need to first complete a bachelor's degree, any bachelor's degree, BA, BCom, BSc, and then do a one-year graduate diploma afterwards. And engineering, we have a 4-year Bachelor's of Engineering. Within it, we teach electrical and electronics engineering, software, and cybersecurity engineering. They all have some specializations within them. So for example, under software, you can again do specializations in artificial intelligence or in networked applications. In electrical and electronics, you have specializations in robotics, in machine learning, and in renewable energy. The great part about the Bachelors of Engineering is that you receive 800 hours of paid work experience during your bachelor's degree. This usually takes place in the summer holidays after your second and your third year. So we will place you with an engineering company. You get paid to work for them over the summer. And it means by the time you finish, you're very much work ready. You're a very attractive graduate to the engineering industry there because they know you already have that experience. So that's it for our degrees. I'm going to very quickly go through the types of international student support, other points, so that we can have time for the questions at the end. So we've got a great team there in Wellington that really looks after our international students, everything from a friendly face at the airport when you arrive to pick you up, to academic and learning support services if you need some help, understanding your assignments or picking up study skills. There's people to assist you with visa extensions or health insurance claims. We've got a buddy program. There's also counseling, mental health, student health with a nurse on campus as well. So whatever you might need, there is somebody to assist you at the university. We also run a number of very well recognized extracurricular programs. So the Wellington International Leadership Program gives you the opportunity to interact with thought leaders from around the world. So for example, the ambassadors of foreign countries come to speak and interact with the students, the leaders of international organizations, etc. It means that you get to interact with like-minded students, you do reflection essays, you're getting that exposure which can lead to a career in the international sector. So that's one of the activities you can sign up for. The Wellington Plus program is a volunteering project where you sign up to do a number of volunteering activities throughout the year. And if you successfully complete one or both of these programs during your bachelor's degree, it is mentioned on your final transcripts. Accommodation, we have 13 hostels. They are spread out throughout the city because we're very inner city based. We don't have them technically on campus. They're about 5 to 10 minutes walk from each campus. You can have catered accommodation where you have 3 meals a day provided to you. You can take self-catering where you cook for yourselves and it's more like an apartment setup. Most of the bachelor students take the meals. If you have special dietary requirements, for example, if you need vegetarian or halal or gluten-free, then don't worry, the halls can cater for that. You just let them know in advance exactly what you need in terms of your dietary requirements. They're very fun spaces, very safe spaces. You've got residential advisors there to look after you. And scholarships, we do have academic merit scholarships. They depend on your marks in your 12th grade. We usually award $10,000 to the bachelor students who qualify. We have our own academic merit scholarship called the Tongarewa Scholarship, it means precious in Maori. And Education New Zealand also runs the New Zealand Excellence Awards every year for international students, which are for $10,000. Career opportunities, Annie did mention earlier that when you finish your bachelor's degree, you get a 3-year work visa in New Zealand. It's an open work visa, you don't need a job offer for that. Most of our graduates do enter into full-time employment very soon after graduating, or else if they're intended in a research career, they might be going on to their next qualification afterwards. Our Career Services Department assists in preparing you for the workforce, and they also run career expos where companies come in, meet the students, give them information on the opportunities, and some of them also shortlist or interview applicants on the day. One thing I didn't mention is that you also have the opportunity to study abroad. So although you are anyway studying abroad by coming to the university to study, if you want to, you can also add on a semester in another country. We have more than 160 partner universities worldwide. So you could choose to do a semester in the US or Spain or China or anywhere you wish really, if you want to add that additional experience to your degree. It is a very popular choice. I would really recommend it for giving you that, you know, that one more culture that you can experience while you study with us. So admission, marks, your admission is based on your marks in the 12th grade and your English scores in your 12th grade. We do not need any additional tests like SAT, etc. You don't usually need to take IELTS or TOEFL, and your extracurriculars are also not necessary. So we need 75% average in your top 4 subjects, and we need 65% in your English subject in order to qualify for entry. We do issue conditional offers based on your 11th grade marks or your predicted scores. We have 2 trimesters in a year. Some programs have only 1 intake. Most of the programs have 2, and BCom has 3 in Feb, July, and November. So if you're applying for February, you need to apply before the 1st of December. If you're applying for July, you need to apply by the 1st of May. Yep. If by any chance you are not able to make the percentage required for entry, we do have alternate pathways. I know it is a very challenging study environment at present. Being at home, trying to study online with whichever distractions also there alongside. So if you are unable to make that 75%, we do run foundation studies, which is another 6 months. So you enroll in foundation studies, you finish your 6-month program successfully, and you then get entry into your bachelor's degree. You can also choose to do 1 year at a university in India, complete it successfully, and then take admission to a bachelor's degree on that basis. So those are the 2 pathways that we have for entry into bachelor's degree if you're not making the percentage requirements. Budget, very similar to what Annie discussed for Lincoln. We're all pretty similarly priced in terms of the universities there. So the budget will depend on which degree you choose. Bachelor's degrees in the humanities are the least expensive, engineering is the most expensive, and everything else is somewhere in the middle. So engineering, you'll be paying about 18, Bachelors of Arts, you'll be paying about 13, architecture, I think is 15 or 16, this is per year. And living expenses, I say usually budget around 8 to 9 lakh rupees per year. You can be working part-time while you study. You can work full-time in your holidays, so you can supplement your living expenses quite well with that. And that's me, but your counsellor or Alvito can definitely put you in touch with me. If there are some very keen students who'd like some one-on-one counselling, I'd be more than happy for another session to be set up for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Yes, we have about 20 minutes for questions before we go to the next university. So you can ask questions. Andrea covered just a little bit of all the courses that you have. If you have something specific, you can ask now, or if it's
may I
a little
ask
more
a
specific,
question?
you may want to take it separately. Yes, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, you mentioned something about in your last slide that in case if a child is not able to make it after 12th standard, then the alternate path, you mentioned something about foundation studies. What exactly is that?
Yeah. So what happens is that foundation studies is when you haven't quite made the percentage or you don't have the English requirement. English is usually not a problem with our students from India. So foundation studies prepares you for university education. It builds on your study skills, helps you to achieve your percentage. We run it through our partner organization, Up Education, and from next year, they will actually have an option for students to study foundation studies at a university in India as well for those 6 months before they transfer down. One of Alvito's students did do foundation studies and is now in his Bachelor of Laws afterwards. So he was in fact the top student in foundation studies and managed to get a scholarship for his LLB afterwards as a result. So it's like a preparatory course where you haven't made the percentage and we help you to prepare so that when you enter the university, you'll then do well.
So basically anyone can enroll, I mean, you need to enroll for it or like, is it?
Yes.
So if the child is in India, then like he is present in India and he enrolls for it in some college in India, or he has to enroll for it in New Zealand? I mean, how does it work?
So yeah, there's a number of options. It used to be that you had to come down to New Zealand to do it when we were all in the the normal scenario. At present, they're offering it online as well. So there's a number of students doing it online before they travel down. And they are also looking at pathways with a number of colleges in India where they will offer Up Education's Foundation Studies program, but the students will be in a classroom sitting here in India rather than needing to study it online. So there's a number of options available to the students depending on whether, once borders open, obviously, whether they would like to come down to New Zealand to do their foundation studies or whether they'd like to do it here before they transfer down for their bachelor's degree.
I see. And alternately, I mean, he can continue with his 13th standard sort of over here in India and reapply next year on the basis of his marks of 13th standard, basically.
Yes. So for example, students, if they wanted to, could also take admission in a university here in India, successfully complete 1 year of study of any bachelor's degree, and on that basis, then transfer down to the university. That is what would then get them their admission.
Okay, but they will start from year 1 over there. I mean, they don't get to skip a year or anything. Okay.
They might get some credit exemptions, but that would be assessed on a case-by-case basis. When they apply, they would also give back their syllabus to us, and then they may not get an entire year's exemption. It depends on how similar the subjects they study here are to the subjects they would be studying in New Zealand, but they do usually get at least some exemptions, maybe half 1 year off from their studies there.
I see. And in terms of timeline for applications, this will begin sometime in a month or two, and probably by December, Jan, we need to finish applying. Is it?
Yeah, so we open up our applications at least 1 year in advance for every program. So for students who are in the 12th grade, they can apply to us with their 11th grade mark sheets or with their predicted scores. We give them what we call a conditional offer. Once they then receive their 12th grade CBSE marks, they send that to us alongside their admit card details so that we can verify them online. And we then give the unconditional offer. So for students looking at July next year, they can start whenever they're ready to start. And they would then usually get their final results usually in May when CBSE is releasing them as per the normal timeframes. They give it to us. We will turn around that final offer for them very quickly so that they can then start their visa process.
Okay, fine. And in terms of getting a student visa, I mean, there are no issues, right? I mean, it's easy. I mean, once you get an admission, once you're offered admission, then getting a student visa in New Zealand, is it a problem, or is it's a smooth process?
So Alvito is the expert in that area, but what I can say is that very few students would have any issues. Most of my students get them very quickly and with no problems. They will look at the student's bona fides. They will look at the financials. When it's a student who's just graduating 12th and is going into a bachelor's degree at a university, that's thought of as a very positive profile in terms of immigration and their processing.
Okay, and hostel accommodation is provided, or it's kind of I mean, you need to arrange for your own accommodation, at least for the first 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, so we have the hostels, but as long as the student is over 18 when they arrive, it's their choice whether they want to stay in a hostel or private accommodation. If they're interested in staying in a hostel, I advise them to apply for their hostel once they have their offer of place. Some students leave it until they're applying for their visa, and then, you know, sometimes they do miss out on a hostel place because it's already filled up. So if a student wants to stay in one of the hostels, please do apply early as per the cutoff dates for application for those.
Okay, ma'am. And one last question. I mean, do I have the time to ask one last question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got 15 minutes, so we've got lots of time left. Yeah.
You know, in India, most of the professional colleges, like when in terms of engineering colleges, let's say in the final year, generally they have a placement program wherein they invite industry, people from the industry who come in, and final year engineering students, before they appear for their final year exam, they have an opportunity to be interviewed and to be assessed and are offered sort of provisional job offers and placements. So is there any such kind of a facility in New Zealand or in your university where the university helps the students find placements?
Yeah, so New Zealand doesn't have a placement system in the same way that it's there in India. In India, it's seen that the university should find you a job. In New Zealand, we believe that we give you a good education, we prepare you for the workforce, we make you capable of finding a job. That said, we do have career expos. So career expos would be similar to placement fairs in that the companies come in, you know, they meet the students. Some of those companies do interview students and some of those companies do shortlist students on the day. Not all of them do. For some of them, it might just be about taking the CV, letting them know about the job opportunities. A lot of companies also advertise graduate opportunities through us. So they have particular jobs which are graduate jobs, which is for fresh graduates to come into the company, say at entry level, and then, you know, start developing their career there. So the university helps the students by connecting them with potential employers. They help them by preparing them so that they're well placed to enter the workforce. They know how to present themselves to a potential employer, how to do well in a job interview. And there are some companies who will interview at the career fairs. We do, for example, like when you're talking about IT sector, we do get Google, Microsoft, Datacom, some of the other very major tech companies coming for those career fairs, precisely because they do want to hire some of our graduates. Very booming IT sector there. Lots of job opportunities in that area. So students who are doing a technical qualification like IT or engineering usually don't need to worry too much about finding a good job afterwards, because they do get one very quickly.
Okay, and I think from what I read from probably one of your presentation slides or the previous one, after they finish the education, they have the opportunity to look for, I mean, they, in terms of visas, they get a 3-year window to
Yes.
sort of stay back and sort of hunt for jobs and placements.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And it's not linked to having a job offer. You get your 3 years. You can work for anyone you want in that time, and you can work wherever you want in New Zealand in that time. It's not tied to a particular location either.
Okay, fine. All right. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Danish.
Hello. Hi, Andrea. I have a very small question.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Ahant.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if I want to do a dual degree, is it compulsory for me to attend? Like, what is the duration if I want to do a dual degree?
Okay, so dual degree in most cases will take 4 years, but it depends on which 2 degrees you're doing. So for example, if you want to do law with another degree, that would take 5 years. Everything else would take 4 years. The process for it is you will usually enroll in 1 degree. So you pick your top choice of degree. Once we've seen that you're doing well in that degree, like a B- average in your studies in the first year, you then take entry into your second degree alongside. But they can help you with the course planning so that you're meeting some of your requirements for the second degree in the first year as well.
Yeah, so basically I'm interested in completely 2 different subjects, like for example, music, and with that maybe economics or something else. And I want to finish it off in 2.5 years. Is that possible?
Okay, 2.5 years would not be possible. Minimum bachelor's degree would be 3 years. But we do also teach music under the Bachelor of Arts. So rather than doing the specialized bachelor's of music, you could do a Bachelor of Arts with economics and music. That could be an option for you as well.
And I can do that in 3 years?
Yes, you could do that in 3 years. It would be just taking 2 majors under the Bachelor's of Arts.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay.
With regard to the visas, I've put our contact details in the chat box. Please pull them out and get in touch with us. We will talk to you with regard to visas. If you're getting admission to a university like Lincoln or Victoria, they've already screened you to quite an extent with regard to the student's profile. So that is not going to be a problem with regard to bona fide. But then they will look at the financial angle to it and the ability of the parents to support the student over the 3 years or the 4 years of the degree. Yeah, so we basically have to show funding that you are able to support the student and justify that you're able to support your child for the next 3 or 4 years of the degree. That's the only part of the visa that needs to be taken care of.
I have one question.
Sure.
May I know what is the salary range for students who are completing engineering, like in cybersecurity or in IT 4-year course? What is the salary initially they get? And another thing, do you have a master's degree also in IT and cybersecurity?
Okay, so I'm going to put a link on the chat. There's a really good website which is run by the government, which is called, sorry, I'm just trying to it's called careers.govt.nz, and it has all of the information in terms of the career outlooks in each sector, what the salary ranges are, etc. So I'm just putting one down for security analyst, so that you can have a look at the, oops, sorry, I sent that privately to someone. Sorry, whoever that was. I'm sending it to everyone now. So you can have a look at what the salary ranges are for that. And for students interested in other areas, you can just put in your own occupation search term in the bar there to see what type of salary ranges are there. For cybersecurity experts, usually quite good, upwards of $80,000 to $90,000 per year when you finish. IT, engineering, etc., are usually very highly paid. I wouldn't expect a starting salary of less than 70,000 if graduating in IT or engineering. So yes, we do have master's level qualifications as well. We have a master's of computer science, we have a master's of data science, we have a master's of artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. We teach individual qualifications qualification for that, but there's a lot of great options for students to choose at the postgraduate level as well.
Yeah, thank you. For engineering degree, the salary start, and what is the really the master's degree after doing the master's range for Indian students if somebody
Yeah, yeah. So the important thing to note is that in New Zealand, you'll usually do your master's degree after quite a few years of work experience. It's not too common to go straight onto a master's degree. So when we talk about salary ranges, what employers will look at is both what qualification you hold and also what your work experience is. So if an Indian student comes straight after their bachelor's degree into a master's degree, they have a higher qualification, but they don't necessarily have any work experience in that area. So they might receive the same salary range as someone who's just passed out from a bachelor's degree, or if they've done some research alongside, depending on what they've studied, they might qualify for a higher position as well. So just keep that in mind in terms of salary ranges and what types of jobs students are eligible for when they finish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, I have a question. What are the qualifications for the scholarship award?
Okay.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so scholarship, we just look at percentage usually. So as high a percentage as possible will help to get you a scholarship. It's competitive. So you get your offer of place, you apply for your scholarship. We have a cutoff date when it ends. We look at all the applications together. We give it to the best students.
Okay. And my second question is, you spoke about the prospects in IT and cyber security. What are the prospects in actuarial sciences? I mean, post the graduation.
Actuarial science is also extremely good. And given that we're the only university that teaches it in New Zealand, there's actually a couple of specialist scholarships that are available for the second and the third year of actuarial science study from the insurance companies. And they do often also offer internships or graduate positions alongside. I'm just putting the actuarial science careers link down on the chat as well for you, so that you can check out the opportunities there. But yes, very good for actuaries.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the nice presentation.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Ved here.
Hi.
So if we are, the IT topic sparked in my mind. It attracted my attention. So if we are doing a three or 4 year studies in the Wellington University, and then we apply for job in New Zealand also. So do we have to get the citizenship of New Zealand, or is it on visa basis?
It's on visa basis. So when you finish your bachelor's degree, you get a 3-year work visa. It's an open work visa, so you can work for any employer you want during that time. At the end of that 3 years, you then see what else you qualify for. So you can usually either qualify for another work visa, or you can look at whether you apply for residence or another category. But for those 3 years, you can be hired on the basis of your work visa. You don't need to be a citizen for that.
Okay, thank you.
I will very quickly answer a couple of questions in the chat and what we got, Andrea. One is with regard to the application window, like Andrea said, the application opens 1 year in advance. So you students are looking at really applying for the July 2021 intake, because you will finish your 12th. By the time it's April or May, you'll have your results. So you can apply for the July 2021 intake. You can put in your applications right away just based on your 11 scores and what is called a predicted marks letter that your school will give you. We will help you with that, with giving you how to obtain that. And then once you have your 12 scores, we will then be able to apply for your visa. Yeah, so you're realistically looking at July next year. With regard to the SATs, like she mentioned, no SAT is required for Australia and New Zealand, right? So you do not need to do an SAT. It is purely, even scholarships, like she said, are purely based on your 12 scores and English waivers of PT. But if you've got good English scores, you can get a waiver on the IELTS also.
Yeah. there were a couple of questions that were sent privately to me on chat. So there was a question on aircraft interior designing. Unfortunately, not as specialized as that, but you could go into another area of design. You could do interior architecture and see where that takes you. Or you could do industrial design. These would be probably the two closest areas that I could recommend for that area. And a question about applying for masters after UG in psychology. Is SAT or TOEFL necessary? So SAT is not necessary, but if you've done your undergraduate in India, you will need to provide us with IELTS or TOEFL. So that's part of the requirements for the master's applications for students applying for overseas. It's only the undergraduate level that we have the IELTS waivers for. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions come through before we move on to the...
Is there any, hello, sorry
Sure.
to interrupt.
No,
is there any like entrance exam as we usually have in Indian colleges?
No, no entrance exams, no additional anything that you have to do. Some programs, your entry into the second year depends on your performance in the first. Let me put it that way. So for example, in your LLB, in engineering, in architecture, you need to do well in order to progress. You need to get at least a B minus. That's not hard, it's about 65% and up. So I'm pretty sure you'd all be fine with that. But for example, if you don't get the B minus in the Bachelor of Engineering, you might have to change to the Bachelors of Science instead. And in architecture, it can depend on which of the streams you go into, but no additional entrance exams. I've just had a question about medicine. We don't have medicine. There are two universities in New Zealand that offer medicine. It is University of Auckland and University of Otago. There's no direct entry for MBBS in New Zealand. You have to do 1 year of health sciences first, and then there's competitive exams to get into MBBS. It is very expensive. You would end up spending at least £1 crore on your education if you do want to do MBBS. But that's those two universities, the ones that you should look at if you're interested in MBBS studies. Before we wrap up, one more question from Neha. No,
hi, Andrea. So we heard a lot about this IT and technology. So what is the scope of the commerce education in the New Zealand after this 3 years course? What kind of job they get? One. Second, what is the master education on the commerce side?
Yeah, so scope depends on what major you do within Bachelors of Commerce. So here in India, your Bachelors of Commerce is usually, it's generalized, you cover all of the subjects. In New Zealand, you do 1 general year and then you do 2 specialized years. So you choose either 1 or 2 majors. So your outcomes will depend on which majors you choose there. But when we look at areas like accounting, finance, information systems, actuarial science, these are very much in demand. If somebody is looking for a career, say like a business executive, they choose management or international business. Marketing, there's also good opportunities. So we do IT, when we talk about the opportunity, IT is in demand because we have an acute shortage of trained professionals in that area. Commerce, no shortage, except in certain areas like accounting, finance, information systems, etc. But still good outcomes for the students who go through the Bachelors of Commerce program.
Hello,
okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, very quickly, that's the last question we'll take.
Yeah. What is the duration for post-graduation studies and what is the fee structure for post-graduation course in Wellington? Thank you.
Yeah, so post-graduation can be anywhere between 1 to 2 years, depending on which option you choose. The fees are all on our website. Pretty much, we've got lots of information up on the website, very open, very transparent in terms of how much everything costs, what eligibility is, etc. And Alvito can also get you in touch with me for the more specialized questions. There's just one question in the chat I would like to address, which is, do you need to be over 18 to study? No, you don't. The only requirement when you're under 18 is that you have to stay either in one of our hostels or in a New Zealand homestay. You can't take private accommodation until the time you turn 18, because that's our duty of care to you while you're underage. And your parents also have to sign a consent form for you to come to the university. you are also usually not given the right to work part-time until you turn 18, but you can come and study when you're under 18. And I've had students from India come down before they turn 18 before.
Okay. Okay. I think we've run out of time. We have Sanjay waiting to represent for University of Tasmania. So let me very quickly say, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us. That was really enlightening. I know you guys have a lot of questions because this is a good university to study so many different courses. Please get in touch with Anindita, madam. She will put you in touch with me, or I've put our contact details in the chat box. It's got the email ID, it's got our social media coordinates. You can get in touch with any way possible, or you can get in touch through Anindita, madam. She's very supportive and she will definitely help you get in touch with us. So thank you, Andrea. Before you go, we're going to run a little poll. Like I said before, we have one poll for New Zealand, one poll for Australia. So we'll run Australia poll after the Australia presentations. So Sanjay, hi, I know you're there. If you bear with me a couple of minutes.
No worries, take your time.
We will just run the poll and yeah, Jency, can you launch the poll? So the poll answers were in the presentations, okay? So kids,
yes,
it's a little refresher before we get into the next presentation, yeah?
Am I allowed to answer it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so here's the first question. Where is Lincoln University located?
Can you run? You have to launch the poll. Jency, launch the poll from poll. Okay.
That is launched, yeah.
Yeah. Very quickly, 10 seconds.
Done already.
Done, sir.
Okay, stop the poll, Jency.
Okay.
Can you say percentage answers?
Yes. It's Christchurch has got 63%, which is of course the right answer.
Okay, all right. We launched the next poll.
I want to know who put Melbourne there.
Melbourne is coming at the end. We're going to go all over Australia, New Zealand today, okay, kids? Yeah, okay, we launched the next one because this is with regard to Victoria.
Okay, 1 second. One second, there's the same thing which is coming up. 1 minute. Yeah, here, the second one. What is the capital of New Zealand? And the second question is, where is Victoria University located?
I'm tempted to give a hint, but I won't give that.
Done.
You just need to see the what am I doing? Yeah, that.
Yeah, the answer's in the logo. Okay, stop it. Yeah, I think we don't want to put much time. Yeah, so answers.
Okay, yeah, 1 second. So yes, the capital of New Zealand, 59% has answered Wellington. And where is Victoria, which is the right answer. And where is Victoria University located? Again, Wellington, which is 82%.
Okay, all right. So Victoria is basically located in the capital of New Zealand, which is Wellington. Right. Thank you, Andrea. That was very nice. Nice of you to join. I mean, you can log off now.
Sure.
And kids, we are going to go on to the next university. So we go from New Zealand. It's a short flight over the sea to Australia. And we now land in the University of Tasmania. Okay, there's going to be exciting polls at the end of the Australia presentation. There are 3 Australia universities presenting. Again, specialized courses. Please listen very carefully. I want to welcome Sanjay. Sanjay Madhubushi represents the University of Tasmania for the Indian market. He will welcome Sanjay. Thank you for joining us. You can share your screen and over to you. So we will again do a presentation and kids, you keep your questions at the end. I appreciate the discipline. We've not had any issues in the last presentation and thank you for that. Yes, over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Alvido, for inviting me today. Hey everyone, my name is Sanjay. I work for the University of Tasmania. I've been working with the university for about 5 years now, and it's been a great journey with them, not only because of how amazing this university functions and how well it is structured from head to toe, but also because of the amazing variety of opportunity it offers to students from all across the globe. So welcome everyone to the University of Tasmania presentation. And I'm just going to run through with you what it is like to live in Tasmania, a little bit about Tasmania, and about the various courses that we have at the university. All right. So in terms of courses, we've got more than 100 undergraduate degrees, and across a variety of disciplines. We deal in the fields of arts, sciences, law, education, teaching, marine sciences, maritime studies, engineering, bachelor research degrees, medical degrees, in nursing, in health sciences, in MBBS, and all across a variety of earth and environmental sciences. That is one of our key areas of expertise, the earth. So anything and everything related to earth sciences, we are the place to come to, because we rank very highly and we are one of the most affordable universities in Australia. Now, where is Tasmania? This is a question that a lot of people used to have a long time ago, but knowledge and awareness has improved the location idea about where we are situated. So Tasmania is the island located right below the coast of Melbourne. Now, in this particular picture, I know that the island does look fairly small, but in size, it's about 65,000 square kilometers, which is approximately half the size or 1/3 the size of the whole of Maharashtra, and pretty much the same size as Sri Lanka. So if you see here on your screen, you've got a couple of flight routes and the time taken, just for you to understand what is the time that it takes to travel from one major city to Tassie. So from Melbourne, it takes about 1 hour to get to either of our two major cities, Hobart and Launceston, Hobart being the capital city, Launceston being the second biggest city in the country, in the state, I'm sorry. And from Sydney, it takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes to get to Hobart, which is where the main campus is. So what about the various, how would I say, the numbers across Tasmania? What about the various landscapes and the state as a natural beauty, and about a little bit about its numbers. So the population of Tasmania is about 530,000 people. I know that sounds small, but when you think about it, when you're going for an education and you want it to be a calm, serene environment, I think there's no better option than Tassie in Australia. So in terms of land spacing, around 40% of the whole state is national parks and World Heritage wilderness areas. So only 60% of the total land space is occupied land, thereby increasing the population density. So we've got a diverse population over there. We've got people from all across the world who've made Tasmania their home, especially the ones who have studied at the university. The university itself is an age-old university, and it's been in operation for 130 years. It was established in 1891. So that's when we started, our operations. All right, a little bit about Tassie's weather. So since, it's located a little below Melbourne, sometimes people ask, is it always too cold? Is it closer to Antarctica? I mean, it's none of that stuff. You have beautiful four weathers equally split for 2.5 to 3 months every year. And you've got beautiful summer where you have a lot of activities happening throughout the year. Throughout that summer period. You've got autumn when a lot of people come into Tasmania to do bushwalking and trekking activities, especially nature lovers. There's a lot of things to see in Tassie, especially for students who study there. There are a lot of social clubs that involve them in taking them out and, exploring various parts of the state. Now, coming down to our campus and where we're located, This campus that you're seeing, the picture that you're seeing, is our Hobart campus. It's one part of the campus you're seeing. The campus itself is really huge. So the part you're seeing is the business school that overlooks the cricket ground that we have. So if you love cricket and you like playing cricket, our university once again would be able to hone your skills, or join in clubs, that sports clubs that endorse you. And some students in the past have had the opportunity to even go on to play in the major leagues. Obviously their talent was identified whilst they were at university, and once they became a part of the community after graduating and continued to play, they went on to play major league games. And these were earlier international students who came into the university. The next campus, or the other campus, is our Launceston campus. This campus is up north. It's not as big as our Hobart campus, but it's almost equally populated in terms of students. We've got around 55,000 students at the university, somewhat equally split across both campuses. We've got about 30,000 students in our Hobart campus and about 25,000 students in our Launceston campus. Totally about 8,000 international students out of these 55,000 students that are at the university, and a very diverse batch of that. So we've got students coming in from Latin America, Africa, Middle East, various parts of Europe, America, Canada, India, Sri Lanka, East Asia, China. So we've got a huge variety and diverse population at the university, which enables you to, understand world perspective when you're studying at the university. That's the whole point of studying at an international university. You come there, you meet diverse people, you share your experiences with them as they do with you, their experience, and you build your perspective from there on, making you a global citizen. Now, usual or a fair question to ask is, the safety of a particular city or a state when you're considering to go study over there. The air quality in Tasmania is known to be the cleanest in the whole wide world. You'd actually, you would have probably read about that in some, if you've seen any shows or read any magazines regarding, environmental management and, how a state functions sustainably. Tasmania would have definitely been on those lists, because they are very, very considerate about the environment and take care of their surroundings. Now, in terms of crime rates, we are the lowest in the whole of Australia compared to all other capital cities, and we've made our place in the Global Peace Index. So what this essentially means is, if at any point, you as a parent or as a student are concerned that, my child is going to a place that I've not heard of before, these are important data sets that will make you feel more comfortable sending them there, because there are no issues per se when they get there in terms of safety, in terms of health, everything. So a little more about the university now in specific. So what you're seeing here is, once again, the business faculty, and then the pharmaceutical science faculty and several others in line. And this is just probably 1/10 of the campus that you're seeing over here. And behind them you see all nearby housing, options where students usually stay. Some are university held accommodation and some are privately owned. So it depends upon what kind of options you're going for. We'll discuss that towards the end of the presentation. Now that's our Vice Chancellor, Rufus Black. And I just want to talk to you about a few varieties of degrees that we have. So as I said earlier, we dive deep into arts, public policy, social work, things that come under humanities, education, law, and when it comes to health sciences and medicine, we have an entire college and facilities dedicated to just that under the university. So we deal with MBBS, we've got pharmacy, nursing, psychology, and various other forms of biomedical sciences that will cater to your needs. Under business, we've got, once again, a huge variety of programs, and this enables you to switch and swap and create interesting programs for yourself when you come into the university, because we are an extremely flexible university. In terms of rankings, we rank in the top 300 universities in the world, top 50 in the Asia Pacific region, and almost all our disciplines are ranked in the top 50 in the world. So this page shows you a little more about which programs or which courses of ours have the highest world rankings. So we rank world #1 for marine sciences, associated to Southern Ocean research, because we are strategically placed for that. We rank very highly in other forms of marine sciences as well. So if you're interested in the ocean, in the water, and everything associated to it, it doesn't have to just be marine life or conservation. It could be studying ocean tides and the way the geography works underwater, and how it impacts our natural environment as it is. Then we've got geology or deposit studies, which is basically falls under environmental management and spatial sciences. So spatial sciences is the use of technology to understand the Earth. Now, for example, you work for, let's say, Google. Now, Google has various satellite systems and drone systems around the world. What they're actually doing with these systems is that they are also monitoring the Earth, the various data about the sensitivity of the Earth in different points, about the soil compositions, about various minute data that will, enable them to provide this to people who are responsible for planning, infrastructure, construction, etc., thereby making it more sustainable to build in the long term. So that is spatial sciences, and that is something we're very, very famous for. A lot of students from India come to study surveying and spatial sciences with us. We're also in the top 50 universities to study agricultural sciences. You can study anything from horticulture to soil sciences to crop development, food management, winery development. So we rank so highly in agriculture. We have a separate department just for agriculture called Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture that was set up along with the government of Tasmania, the state government of Tasmania, to enable students after they graduate to come in and do research, and also to find their passion in which field of agriculture they want to work in. The common misconception of the word agriculture is that you'll have to go into the field and farm. Yes, you will, but that's probably 1% of your annual activity, that is field work. Most of your work will be spent in laboratories and computers, analyzing and working on better practices and better methodology to improve agricultural methods, to create more sustainable agricultural methods for the future. It's all about keeping things in check for our future, because if we don't, the problem is that our future is going to be in a worse situation than we are right now in terms of various climatic changes and global warming and whatnot. In terms of rankings, once again, we rank world 61st in law. What I want to talk to you a little bit about law is that, once again, there is an idea that when you study law, that you graduate to either become a corporate lawyer, a litigating lawyer, or some lawyer that works in court. That's not the case. If you're interested in studying law, it's a great opportunity to come study law at the University of Tasmania, because we cater to a huge variety of specializations under law. As I said, we rank so highly for environmental sciences and marine sciences. Even our law program shifts the tide towards their interest over there. Of course, if you want to study corporate law or criminal law, we do have options for that. But when you do study things like environmental law, marine law, and things like that, you have an immediate opportunity that the university has established over 100 years to go work in Australian government organization, in international organizations like the World Health Organization, the World Bank. Several of our students have pre-graduating offers from these international organizations, because a lot of projects done by the UN are given to our professors at the university. And when that happens, for research purposes, the professors do take in students both for assistance as well as exposure to the student. So this way, you're broadening your horizon when you're at the university itself. You are going to be interacting and networking with people from these organizations and thereby building a great portfolio for yourself when you graduate. All right, so this shows some of the facilities that we have. If you see to your left, you see a building that's structured like bones, like the skeletal system. Yeah, so that's our medicine facility. So that's where students will be studying different forms of medicine and sciences. To the right on top, for students who are interested in shipping, we've got courses that will teach you how to become a merchant navy personnel. So you can learn how to become, you start out at the cadet level and you progress onto the final level, which is chief mates. So that's a wonderful area of study as well. Below that simulator, you see the faculty there is the faculty of IMAS, which is Institute of Marine and Antarctic Sciences. That's the one with the super high ranking. And below that is faculty of Architecture and Design. So we've got a huge campus with separate faculties for all disciplines. And that's where a huge advantage comes into play for you. Now, I've just made a note of some of the popular bachelor degrees that students from India and especially regions like Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Calcutta, and other top metropolitan cities take up for their studies. We've got, as I said, agricultural sciences, a bachelor's of science with a huge variety of specializations, almost 20 different specializations. Almost anything under the sun that you can imagine is something that we offer under our Bachelor's of Science. Bachelor's of Surveying and Spatial Sciences is also something we offer. That's what I talked to you earlier about. So under our science, we offer everything. So whether it's genetics, microbiology, cell biology, botany, zoology, anything at all that you're interested in under science, I'm pretty sure we can cover that. We have natural environment and wilderness study. So if you're interested in the wild, understanding the wild, both animal life, plant life, etc., students who usually study this particular program get opportunities to work with companies like Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, Nat Geo, and stuff like that. So that's the range of opportunity you're looking at when you study a program associated to wilderness with the University of Tasmania. We've got two forms of engineering as well for you classically interested engineers. We've got maritime engineering, which is engineering associated to the ocean, and our standard engineering degrees that you would have commonly heard of, such as civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, electrical power, and so on. Under maritime engineering, which is shipping engineering, you would be studying things like ocean engineering, naval architecture, or marine and offshore engineering. We are once again the only university in Australia that offer maritime studies. Maritime is everything to do with the oceans. So that's once again something unique to us. You can definitely have a look at our website to see the exact course structure. Usually students coming in to do maritime studies get employment as soon as they graduate because it's a niche area. And as you know, Australia is surrounded by water and every major city has a port. So a lot of opportunity once again over there. Maritime engineering does not mean you will be going on the ship and sailing. It's engineering at the end of the day. You will have limited field work where you go and check stuff on the ship, on submarines, on the ports regarding their design, etc. But the majority of your work is done in an office space with software and technology and models to work on. All right. Right under that, if you see number 7 and number 8, that is our applied science in nautical science and in marine engineering. Now, these particular fields are extremely unique in the way that the world over they are designed. Imagine a driver's license, but for a ship. All right. Now, this driver's license for a ship or a shipping license, you get over a period of 4 to 4.5 years of study, but is split with work experience in between. So if your goal is to start earning money when young, then this is a great program for you to get into. Because how it works is you'll study 1 year at the university, then you cut off, and then because before you get into second year, the university needs for you to have seafaring experience, which is real time on the sea seaman experience. So you will go on the sea, you will complete your 18 to 24 months of sea time requirement in how much ever time you want, whether you want to do it all at one shot or whether you want to space it out. You finish that and then you come back for year 2. Now, why I said this is great for students who want to start earning young is because after your parents or you invest in your first year of studies, after you finish that, the work that you do is full-time work. You go onto the sea, and that particular industry pays in US dollars. So you will be earning in US dollars anywhere in the world you go, because that is the standardization of that industry. And once you're done with that period, you will have enough and more money to cover your second year, and so on and so forth. Obviously, as you grow older, your expenses increase, etc. But to start you out with, if you want an opportunity to earn more young, these are courses that are once again unique to our university in Australia and have that opportunity for you. All right. Progressing onwards, another famous program that a lot of Indian students look to do is IT. Now, under our IT degree, we've got various specializations. It's called the Bachelor's of Information and Communication Technology. Now, we've got various specializations, be it cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, data sciences, business analytics, software development, mobile application development, games and creative technology. We've got everything that you could look out for when you want to start out in your career in the IT industry. Obviously, super duper specializations like human-computer interaction or artificial intelligence in robotics or something like that comes at the master's level. But to start you out with, we've got everything you need. Bachelor's of Marine and Antarctic Science, already had a word with you about this some time back where we spoke about the opportunities in the field of marine sciences. We've got a faculty of architecture and design. Now, our architecture program was also one of the programs started in along with the inception of the university. So we've got a 3-year Bachelor's of Architecture and Built Environment program. After completing this, you get a provisional license in Australia. And what you do with it is you get to work under a practicing architect or in an architectural firm, etc. But it is only after you complete your Masters of Architecture is that you can start applying for your professional license. What is the difference between this structure of architecture in Australia versus India? It's pretty simple. In India, you have to finish your 5 years or 6 years of study plus your work of 1 year of internship. Only then can you start working as anything related to architecture, even though it is a full professional degree. Whereas in Australia, you get to break it in 2 parts, as a bachelor of 3 years and a master's of 2 years. Then you apply for your professional level. But the beautiful part is you can start working with your provisional license, thereby enabling you to save some money to cover the next 2 years of your education after you graduate your bachelor's degree. Already had a word with you about Bachelor's of Law. Under Bachelor's of Arts, okay, sorry, I forgot to mention, the University of Tasmania's Bachelor of Law is recognized by the Bar Council of India. So in case you were wondering, if I want to come back to my home country, will my law degree be recognized? Yes, it will. You just have to sit the bar examinations that any Indian students sit for anyway at the end of their 5 years of education in India. So it's the same exams that you'll need to sit. The degree, though, is fully recognized by the Bar Council of India. Coming into Bachelor's of Arts, I know that when I say arts, you automatically think that it's going to be something relating only creative, but it's not. It's going to be across a wide array of specializations. We've got more than 20 specializations. We have heritage learning history, language, we've got political science, humanities, social sciences, international relations, a whole wide, world for you to explore under the Bachelor of Arts. And the beautiful part is you don't have to stick to just one. You have two options, because you'll have a major and a minor. So you can choose something you're mainly interested in and something that piques your interest, or something else that you've never heard of that you want to experiment and try out under your minor. So it's a beautiful opportunity to study arts with us as well. We've got fine arts, which is performance arts, which is music, theater, etc. And once again, all these arts programs were started early in the days. So we have huge amount of industry connections within Australia. So people who employ theater artists, music performers, etc., usually do recruit from the university after the students graduate. We've also got a Bachelor's of Media under our School of Arts, Law and Education, which means if you're interested in journalism, media, communication, anything of this sort, then this is an option for you. All right. Going into the Faculty of Health and Medicine, I guess a lot of students amongst you would be interested in MBBS, because that is something that, 12th grade brings in that interest to you, that 11th and 12th grade, like, yeah, I want to do MBBS. To talk to you a little bit about the University of Tasmania's MBBS program, it's a 5-year degree followed by 1 year of internship at a government hospital. So during your 5 years, you will be studying the first 2 years, which is your initial level of practicing, and then you specialize from your 3rd year onwards. The MBBS entry requirements, though, are high, as you would expect them to be. We look at a aggregate percentage of 95%. We would take on a best of 4. So let's say you have 5 subjects in your final board examinations, then the best 4 will be taken into account for assessing whether you meet that 95%. So a 95% to get into, to apply for medicine, it is competitive because we have limited number of seats in all our health science programs. So once you apply with your, board exam scores and an admission test just for medicine, which is called ISAT, ISAT. So once these 2 are completed, you can apply with your scores to the university, and we'll assess you on a competitive basis with all our other applications of international students from across the world. We do have quite a few Indian students making this cut. On an average, about 5 to 6 a year come through to study medicine. All right. There are a couple of other health science programs that I want to just run by with you. So all the following programs are registration programs, which means you get a license to practice after you graduate. So that would be the Bachelor of Nursing, the Bachelor of Pharmacy, the Bachelor of Laboratory Medicine, which is unique to University of Tasmania, and only 2 universities in Australia offer this program. Bachelors of Exercise and Sports Science, and Bachelors of Nutrition, and Bachelors of Psychological Science. All of these programs, other than psychological science, that needs a master's level program for registration, all these other ones at the bachelor level is enough to complete your education in Australia. You don't need to study beyond that, because that itself has its specialization under that. And you don't have to go on to study a master's degree unless you absolutely want to. So all those degrees are registered, have work experience units as a part of university study, and have great payout in terms of money opportunities when you graduate. I know the Bachelors of Laboratory Medicine may not be something you've heard of before. It is a program that is registered with an institution called AIMS, Australian Institute of Medical Scientists. Now, people who complete this program work in medicinal microbiology, clinical chemistry, and they are the ones who work as, they work along with doctors and pharmacists in laboratories to analyze various diseases, etc., and provide results in terms of testing and so on and so forth. So that's blood work, genetic work, etc. And all these things are done with the Bachelors of Laboratory Medicine. So yeah, that's a little bit about our School of Health Sciences. Now, coming into our School of Business, we've got 8 different specializations under our School of Business. So if under our Bachelors of Business, I'm sorry. So whether you want to do accounting, marketing, general management, HR, whatever it is, we've got it for you. We've got a super specialized Bachelor of Economics because we've seen that across the globe, we've seen a lot of students interested in purely economics. So we cater to that particular need. So you can do, econometrics, database economics, management, and so on under that particular program. It's a wonderful program if you want to get into management consulting, because a lot of students who want to get into these big multinational management consultancies like Bain, McKinsey, etc., they study bachelors of economics. So yeah, last but not the least, we have bachelors of global logistics and management. This is once again a beautiful program to study. Just because the word logistics is mentioned does not mean we're not covering all aspects of operation management. You get to study operations, supply chain, procurement, transportation, distribution, warehousing, everything that falls under logistics management. And since Australia is such a huge country with cities located wide apart, logistics is a huge part of the Australian economy, and wonderful job opportunities available after you graduate this particular program. So yeah, that's a little bit about the main courses that you would be catering to at the university. Something about scholarships. At the university, we've got a 25% scholarship that we offer to higher academic achievers. So if you're from the CBSE or the Maharashtra State Board, or the ICSE curriculum, we would look at an average entry requirement of 65 to 70 for most courses, other than some courses that have a higher entry requirement because of the rankings we hold. So 65 to 70% is the standard range of entry. If you get 10% more than your entry requirement for that particular course, then you also get the 25% scholarship. And it's not difficult to maintain. And this 25% scholarship is for your entire course duration. So imagine you're going for a bachelor's of engineering degree, which is around 35,000 Australian dollars, 36,000 Australian dollars. That's about 18 lakhs a year. So if you get 25% scholarship on a 4-year course that costs 18 lakhs a year, you're saving 18 lakhs on your entire study period. So yeah, that's the kind of scholarship that we're offering at the university. And in case by any chance you don't meet that entry requirement, or you haven't gotten the scholarship, for some programs we offer an alternate entry. So at the university itself, we offer diploma pathways, which means let's take the ICT, the Bachelor's of Information and Communication Technology. Now, let's say you've gotten a 65%, you're able to enter the program, but you feel that you'd be happier off with a scholarship. Now, you can't go and change your board exam marks, but what you can do is take a diploma of science leading to Bachelor's of ICT, which means the course duration would still be the same, but since they're packaged as 2 separate courses, you'd complete your 1-year diploma of science leading to the 2nd year of Bachelor's of ICT. And if you do well during that 1 year of diploma, your 25% scholarship kicks back in for your 2nd and 3rd year. So the university is offering you an opportunity once again, in case you don't get that scholarship, to get that scholarship. So that is a wonderful option that we have at the university that you must definitely look at tapping into. If you're not able to meet that initial scholarship requirement, don't be disheartened. Don't feel like, okay, I didn't get a scholarship, don't want to proceed with my application. I'd like to step back. So that is definitely something you do not need to do. All right, student support and services. Since it's a really big university in terms of both size and the number of students that we have, we offer a huge number of student services. Some of the most looked out for services is on arrival pickup from the airport. As simple as that. You let us know when you're arriving into either the Launceston or Hobart airports, and we will have someone from the university come and get you. Usually you'll be arriving with a group of students. So, it's a great way on the way to the university, on the way to your accommodation, to interact. And you make your friends as soon as you step foot on Tasmanian soil, which is a beautiful part about some of the student services that we offer. In addition to this, in terms of facilities, we have all sorts of sports clubs and other social clubs that you can get into. As I said, 55,000 students studying at the university. So almost anything under the sun that you can imagine in terms of sports and recreation and co-curricular activities. We've got everything. In case you need any assistance for what you want to go ahead with after you complete your degree, we have career guidance cells where companies that recruit from us are registered. We'll put you in touch with them. You can speak directly to companies if you want. If you just want an idea of the land, the layout of what your opportunities are, we'll do that for you. So it's basically a very student-friendly atmosphere because the whole island of Tasmania is your campus tech. You can just imagine it. So even though it's a huge, huge landmass, it is you, the students who come there to study, who make the place what it is. And since it's such a calm and laid back environment, it's also the least expensive in the whole of Australia for you to come and check out. Usually if you look at studying and living in a place like Melbourne or Sydney, then you have to probably live very far away from the campuses if you don't get university accommodation, because the city accommodations are usually very expensive. It's not like that in Tasmania because the campus is in the heart of the city, and you find a variety of accommodation options ranging from as cheap as $120 a week and going up to how much ever your budget is. And if you're looking at staying on campus with university accommodation, it ranges between $200 to $400, depending once again on what kind of services you want, whether you want food along with your apartment, whether you want to stay with people, without people, studio apartment, the level of budget once again that you plan to come in on. So yeah, and we also do accommodate students who are under 18. So if you're over 17 and under 18 that 1 year, and if you want to come into the university, we have a specialized setup for you as well. So not to worry, you don't have to turn 18 to come in and study with us. So that's just a slight breakdown of the amounts of expenditure from the least to the maximum possible based on your lifestyle and your interests. So on an average, if you see, you would be spending on a reasonably good lifestyle, you'd be spending about $200 a week, including all your amenities and entertainment and food, etc. If you want to live on a super tight budget, you can even reduce that to about $150 to $160 a week, if that's the kind of savings you're looking at. Or if you want to live at large, that's up to you. That's absolutely fine. The Tasmania caters to all kinds of needs. Part-time jobs. Now, what can you do when you come onto campus? You can work both on campus as well as off campus, and you can spend up to 40 hours a fortnight, which is approximately 20 hours a week, doing work to supplement your expenses for study. You cannot use the money you earn to pay for your fees. That needs to come from home, from your parents, your guardian, your bank loan, whichever way you're approaching it. But the university tuition fees needs to come from there, and your expenses that you have for living can be supplemented through part-time work. On the screen, I'm showing you some common jobs taken up, but it does not stop over here. Retail, hospitality, tourism, and agriculture. Agriculture, you have that there. It's pretty unique to just Tassie specifically because you can go onto the farmlands and go on and do fruit picking, vegetable checking, and stuff like that. It's not labor-intensive work. You don't have to put on a satchel on your back and go pick fruits and stuff like that. It's not like that. Everything is technologically operated, and we just need your human touch to add that final level of checking over there. So these are all variety of options that the university, that the state offers in terms of part-time work. Once again, you can work both off campus and on campus. The government of Australia allows that on your student visa. So we've got a huge variety of student experiences as well. So as I said earlier, in terms of services, UTAS Life is our volunteer support group. So if anything you need from your peers, you can contact UTAS Life. They'll take care of you. UTAS Sports is for all you sports enthusiasts across various opportunities, whether it's cricket, football, volleyball, baseball, whatever it is, we've got it working for you. And in terms of events, a lot of multicultural events that happen. You have a lot of societies and clubs. So constantly throughout the year is some event or the other going on that will keep you, entertained at the very least, or also broaden your horizons when you take part of this, take part in this. I'm sorry. So yeah, sightseeing and bushwalking. Bushwalking basically means trekking. So we have amongst the world's most beautiful sceneries over there. And, if you are a person who loves to travel and loves to get out there into the natural, natural environment, then there are weekend trekking trips that the university organizes with groups. You can join in. It's absolutely free of cost. You just have to get your own trekking gear, which is basically shoes, a water bottle, and a backpack, and you're all set. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And to summarize it, if you do come to study with us, you're coming to one of the best institutions in the world. We're one of the most cost-effective institutions, especially considering we offer a 25% scholarship to you as well. The 25% scholarship extends to every single course on our list except medicine. That is the only program for the MBBS. We don't have the 25% scholarship. Since we are the only university in Tasmania, the government of Tasmania offers a large amount of support to us. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for sitting through with me, and I will take your questions.
Thank you, Sanjay. We have very little time for questions, just maybe one or two. We've got Ludwig waiting with the University of Western Australia. Yeah. If anybody's got any questions, very quickly, just 2 questions, please. Or we can just...
Hello. There is one question from me. Whether the work opportunities are available to students in teaching field, like a teacher or something?
Not students, because teaching any job in Australia, you can just think if it has interaction work on a learning scale, whether it's things like nursing, teaching, etc., all these things require a license. So no, it's usually if it's work opportunity during your study, it's things like retail, travel, tourism, and other forms of engagement like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Sanjay, you pretty much covered the common questions. They were mainly on accommodation and scholarship. We did have a special request to touch on the medicine program, and thank you for doing that. Yeah, those were the basic common questions. Yeah, thanks for even touching on cost of living and what students can earn while they're studying and part-time jobs. Okay, yeah, so I think that is it from the University of Tasmania. Thank you, Sanjay, for joining us. We really appreciate it. It has been very enlightening. Please get in touch with us if you want to connect to Sanjay directly to have one-on-one conversations or group conversations, conversation with him. Please let us know and we'll get you connected. Sanjay is on India time, so we're very fortunate with that. So he will be able to connect to you, at a convenient time for both of us, for both of you. Thank you, Sanjay, again. And have a good day.
You as well. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
So we will move on now to the next university, and that is the University of Western Australia. We have Rutwik. Rutwik, if you can start your video and come in. Yeah. Rutwik represents the University of Western Australia, located in Perth. He's the senior regional manager that handles the India market, and he's going to take you through the presentation, and then we'll do questions for about 10 minutes at the end. Yes. So for those who are, I know this is the 4th presentation of the day, but this is something that you guys your parents are very interested in getting this information. So please stay on. If you're feeling hungry, take your phone to your laptop to your food, or get your food to your laptop. Please feel free to do that. But do listen attentively, and we have polls coming again at the end. So over to you, Rutwik. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alvito. I hope you all can hear me. Alvito, is all good?
Yes, all good. Yeah.
Yes.
Good to go. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Very good afternoon and warm welcome. My name is Rutwik, and I'm from the University of Western Australia. I myself is also a graduate of this university. So very happy to take on questions towards the end, because I understand the pain points as a student or as a parent you might have in choosing a destination of study. With that, and no more time, I'll straight away kick off with the session. I got a unique approach to this session today. What I'm going to request is I will keep my video off during the session, but I'll continue to speak in the background. And that will also save the bandwidth and ensure that the quality of delivery through this medium continues to be best. So just give me a moment. All right. So let's start from here. Hi everyone from DPS Mumbai. It's a great opportunity for us to come and present with to the parents and also the students who are looking at considering Australia as one of the study destination for their undergraduate programs. The University of Western Australia is a top 100 university across the world. We are currently ranked 86th globally. I'm going to play a quick video which talks about UWA and Perth, the destination where we come from, before going down the path into the presentation. I am 100% sure you will enjoy this video, and it's quite informative as well. So worth checking out. So moving on further, that's the agenda for the session today. I'm going to go through the basics, so everything you need to know about the university, including some defining common terminology. We're then going to move into employability and how the jobs are changing and what a university education and a UWA experience can do to future-proof your or your kids' careers. Then we'll move on to UWA courses. So the different bachelor degree that we offer at UWA and the admission requirements, including the scholarships. The next one up there is the entry points to UWA. So how different ways you can get into a UWA program. And then we'll cover briefly on the student life, including the services, study abroad option, which is worth evaluating if you're going for a bachelor's program, and what are the practical opportunities on offer to our students at UWA. So that's the agenda for today. And anything if I miss out during the session, we will have options for a few Q&A towards the end. Right, so let's move on the basics first. So as you know, tertiary education is higher education, also known as tertiary education. In some countries, that refers to all the post-secondary qualifications. Now, you're all aware of bachelor's degree, undergraduate, which is your first degree, and then you most likely to move on to a postgraduate qualification. We will also use terminology like majors and minors. So major means a specialization in your degree, and minor would mean a sub-specialization during your bachelor's degree. When we use terms units, which essentially means subjects, similar to the school. So units means subjects. So you have a choice to do broadening units, UWA value proposition to ensure graduates are career ready. They need a breadth of skills across the transdisciplinary areas. And I'll elaborate a bit more why. The next one down there is semester. So it's just like a school term, but there are 2 semesters in a calendar year at UWA. One is February semester start, and the second one is the July semester start. Okay. So then moving on further, we'll move on to employability. Some interesting stuff coming up here now. So as you can see on the slides, what research suggests is that our way of working is a thing of the past. Now that linear pathway of training up in one job and then practicing in it for most of your career is not going to be valid in future. So what's going to happen? So we believe that as per the research, young people like yourselves are predicted to have 17 jobs in 5 different industries. So this is a completely unprecedented and something that none of us, including our parents or grandparents, have had to navigate through during their careers. The research also is telling us that not only are young people expected to work in 17 jobs across 5 industries, but technology is advancing so quickly that many of these jobs we know today will fundamentally shift or don't even exist yet. And I'm sure you are aware of where we are heading from here, and you're reading through the papers online about this non-traditional shift into this new normal future. This is a serious challenge, right? We are facing as young people, but it's also a challenge for universities. And how can we make sure that our education and training is relevant to the new work order? Okay, so I'm going to possibly provide you some solutions, but again, looking at the research, the solution for this challenge is ensuring that young people like yourselves receive an education that's transdisciplinary. So what I mean by that is you're getting experience from multiple areas. So these skills aren't typically measured in exams or curriculum, but these are essential in the new workplaces. I'm talking about skills like project management, communication, digital literacy, financial literacy, teamwork, leadership, innovations, and creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking. So just keeping this in mind, the University of Western Australia has found a solution to combat these challenges through our interest areas and the course model. So we want you to seek to set yourself apart from the job market. So we commonly get this question, what are the possibilities of job after finishing the degree at your university, okay? So we would like you to move aside from this question and look at what are the interest areas that UWA has to offer where your child is passionate about studying. So from here, we are going into the UWA courses. I think this will provide you some options to think about. We've divided our courses by these interest areas. So we break up the interests into 10 different interest areas, which you can see here. The likes of architecture, design and planning, or data and computer science, We have health and biomedical sciences, humanities and social sciences, and so on and so forth. So I would request you to think about how you may be able to combine a few of these interest areas to follow your passions, interests, and strengths. And I'll run you through all the possible careers that you would get, which sit under each of these interest areas. For example, our industry and community partners have identified the needs for skills that address opportunities of automation, artificial intelligence, and robotics, as well as its social consequences of this technology transformation that's changing the demographic profile. So what I mean by that is, let's have an example of this interest area titled as agriculture, environmental, and biological sciences. Okay, so maybe one of the students that we have today can say, look, I want to pursue career in biotechnology, or I want to pursue career in agriculture sciences. So this particular interest area covers things like conservation biology, zoology, and botany. And our university provides a balance of learn about both the animal and environmental sciences within these interest area. As you can see, I'm not going to talk about rankings per se here, but just so you know, we very highly sought after in areas of life sciences in general. And the location Perth, where we come from, in the west coast of the country, has a biodiversity hotspot. So that gives you some idea of opportunities that Western Australia offers for students in areas of life sciences. We've recently expanded our courses. So here is a list of different courses we offer in these areas, including agribusiness, agricultural technology, integrated earth and marine sciences, a very popular area. We get interest from students in India. We also have areas around conservation biology. How are you going to look after your environment to future-proof our generations that's coming up, including a wildlife conservation as well. So that's one interest area we've covered. I'm moving on to the next one, where we have physical sciences, engineering, and computer science and mathematics. I'm sure some of you are passionate about pursuing a career in, artificial intelligence, or some of you might be interested in pursuing careers in data science, so data modeling, data mining, big data processing, and so on. Now, so the Australian government did recently announce that they are putting more than $8 million to help grow the cybersecurity industry. It's an area which will have high job demands in the future. Now, interesting thing about UWA is all our science students can also complete 80 hours of practical experience as part of their degree. So what this means is you're not only learning the theory, but you learn how to apply that into practical context, which makes you job ready. So in summary, it's learning beyond the books and the classrooms. We call it in general as holistic learning experience. Now, this is our new home for our engineering and mathematical science students. We call it eZone, where students from different disciplines can learn and collaboratively work together. This building runs on sustainable energy and is powered by both wind and solar energy sources. Moving on to next one, we call it pure sciences. So physical sciences, engineering, and mathematics. We offer a variety of majors, if you remember majors, specializations like chemistry, engineering, geochemistry, geology, maths and stats, physics. We've recently introduced a new program called Advanced Computer Science, Cybersecurity, International Cybersecurity, and AI. So these are the different courses that we offer in areas of physical sciences, engineering, and mathematics. Moving on to the next one, architecture, design, and planning. So some students are interested in, pursuing career as a landscape architecture or architecture in a nutshell. So within the architecture, design, and planning, we have landscape design, architecture, and urban design. When we talk about architecture and in design, don't just think about interior design or building houses or apartments. I think it's much more wider than that. So think city and suburb planning. So we have a program called Urban and Regional Planning as an example. When new suburbs emerge, urban planners need to think about, where will schools, medical centers, and shopping centers be located? When you see roadworks along your expressways as an example, you need to look at how these new roads and networks merge with one another. So that's where we look at architecture, design, and planning interest areas. We have state-of-the-art facilities, including 3D printers, laser cutters, printmaking studios, and lots of computer labs. We've also recently expanded our courses into environmental geography and planning, so you can see that on the slide. Yeah. Okay, moving on to humanities and social sciences. So some of the careers that students would like to pursue in, I think I heard a question for the previous session about, are there opportunities for teaching? So that sits under here. We also have philosophy, politics, and economics as a major. Of course, media and communication is getting a lot of demand even here in India, and if you're interested in foreign affairs and policy. So we have maximum languages that we offer, including Chinese, French, German, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Korean, and Spanish. And another one, English and literary studies. So again, the research says, and we've noted that being a bilingual has many benefits for employability and also for personal growth by learning about different cultures. Now, why would you study that at UWA? One of the key reasons being UWA incorporates practical units into all our arts major areas so that you can get practical learning opportunities within the degree, which is just as important as for an arts degree as it is for the science degree that we discussed earlier. We've recently launched a new program in our humanities and social sciences interest area. It's a Bachelor of Philosophy, Politics, and Economics. So these are the variety of majors that we have under humanities and social sciences. To another interest area, I'm conscious of time. I won't be able to cover all, but some of the popular ones like business and law. So again, some students are passionate about having a startup. They would like to study entrepreneurship and innovation. We also have students who are interested in pursuing accounting, economics, and marketing, just as an example. See, this image that you see on the left-hand side is our trading room, which has softwares where students can access information about the stock exchange, shares, and bonds, and you can work on real data and numbers. This trading room is the biggest one in Australia and have global award for its functionality. So our degree at UWA has been recognized both in Europe and North America as well. So what this means for you, so if you decide to go to one of these continents, then your degree has the same value as someone who graduates from a university in Europe and North America. So that's basically what we're saying here is it's a globally recognized qualification. We've recently expanded our course in business and management, enterprise and innovation, and global business under our interest area of business and law. let's move on to engineering, and I'm sure quite a few are interested in pursuing engineering degree overseas. So we have engineering science, under which we have specializations like biomedical science, biomedical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, electrical and electronic engineering, environmental engineering, mining engineering, software engineering, and so on. We've also got this new program that we discussed, which is automation and robotics. I think this is the last interest area that we'll cover off, health and medical sciences. Now, we are quite well known in this area because of our medical dentistry and new optometry courses. I was advised by Alvito that we would like to elaborate a bit more on our medicine programs. So let me give you a summary in a nutshell. Our medical program has been running for 63 years, and we are the first medical program in Western Australia where we have a well-established facilities for our students. For example, our health campus, which is between the main campus and the surrounding hospitals in the Netherlands area. So Netherlands is the suburb where we are located. We have Western Australia's largest donation program for our students to learn from real human specimens in our pathology laboratories. Now, this real life exposure starts at the very early stage in your degree. So the students can get that as much exposure within their degree. We also have interactive labs such as CTech, which is a simulation lab where students get real life samples of blood to test and identify what might be wrong with the patient and implement a treatment plan. Just so you know, our University of Western Australia is currently ranked 9th in the world for clinical medicine. We also have a Nobel laureate who's received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2005. His name is Professor Barry Marshall. Now, under health and medical sciences, we have a number of majors that you can notice. The degree we have is called a Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences. And you can choose a single major, as an example, microbiology and immunology, or you can do a double major over the three-year duration at the same cost. So single major or a double major would not make any difference in terms of your tuition fee you pay to the university as well as the duration of your course. We as a university encourage students to go for a double major during their bachelor's degree at UWA. I'm just conscious of time. Alvito, how much time we've got before I decide on the next section?
Ritwik, another 5 minutes before we take the questions, 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, no problems. So that will take me towards the next section, which is a direct pathway. Now, what direct pathway is? Basically high achieving year 12 students who've already decided on their career path are encouraged to take advantage of these professional pathways. So these are all professional pathways in engineering, architecture, public health, pharmacy, law, dentistry, and medicine, to name a few. So the perfect option if you have a strong sense of the direction you wish to take. So you have a student who decided, I want to be a pharmacist. I think direct pathway is the best option from here to move on. Now, why would you go down the path of pursuing a postgraduate qualification? Because we believe that it is in the importance of postgraduate study, the likelihood of a successful career and successful career growth is much, much higher. And right from the beginning, after year 12, you get a packaged offer of both bachelor's and master's, and it's an assured pathway. Let me explain you how it differs from accelerated differs from the graduate pathway. So let's assume we have a student who's kind of unsure about whether he would like to go down the path of pursuing a medicine program or become a biochemist by pursuing a program in Masters of Infectious Diseases. So we allow the student to get into a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, experience both medical sciences as a major, as well as microbiology and immunology as a major. And then at the end of 3 years, the student can decide whether he or she would like to go down the path of medicine or pursue a career in infectious diseases and then undertake a master's program. So this is a graduate pathway wherein students are now not clear about what they want to be in future as a career. They can take a graduate pathway, and then after the end of 3 years, they can apply for a medicine program if they wish to, as well as other options that they might consider. So that's in a nutshell. I think the second important factor I would like to cover is we've touched briefly on work integrated learning. So every student has an opportunity to do WIL regardless of their course. So these are some of the examples of the industry partners that we collaborate with. I think even if you're taking for credit volunteering opportunities, work placements, and internship throughout your education, you will gain the skills and knowledge and connections to get started in their dream career. So work placements are where students are employed by a company, usually over the holidays, so semester break as an example, and on our campus jobs are also available that University of Western Australia employ students, whether it's tutoring jobs or teaching and research assistantships as well. I wanted to show you how would you even strengthen your student experience is through one of these study abroad programs, or we call it student exchange. So I'm guessing many of you would wish to travel sometime in future, and you can do that throughout your degree. So you don't need to wait until you finish your bachelor's or a master's to travel. Students can take study abroad opportunity from 3 weeks to up to a full year overseas, and it's a great opportunity to build your social skills. Now we have partnered with some of the Ivy League or Russell group of universities across the world who you can nominate to study your semester abroad at no extra additional tuition fee. It's just the cost of living and the travel that you will need to bear to move and study at one of our partner universities. Last but not the least, we have on-campus accommodation, which is guaranteed for undergraduate students. We provide 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the cost of living on campus on an average is $15,000 per year, including meals. I think with that, I'm just going to cover briefly on the excellence scholarships that we have. These Global Excellence Scholarship for CBSE, these are the ranges wherein it starts from $15,000 total scholarship volume and goes up to $45,000, which essentially translates to 40% of the tuition fee. That's the maximum scholarship UWA has on the offer. No separate application required for scholarship. Every application we receive is assessed against this scholarship eligibility, and there is no cap on number of scholarships offered to students from India. With that, I'm going to pause here now, and if there are a question or two that we would like to address, I'm open for that.
Yes, thank you for that, Rutwik. If you can just very quickly take us through approximate fees for studying a Bachelor's of Engineering, Bachelor of Science, and even the Bachelor of Medicine. Just approximate.
On an average, the tuition fee of UWA is $38,000 per year.
Right. Okay, so that's about 18 to 19 lakh rupees per year.
Correct.
That's what it costs there. I'll just reiterate one point. You mentioned you're ninth in the world for your medicine programs. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what would it cost for somebody who got to go through the direct pathway, and what would the entire package be?
The entire package would end up to about $300,000 in tuition fee over 6-year duration of direct pathway in medicine.
Right.
Plus the cost of living.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about 1.5 CR. And do they have residencies too included in the 6 years? And where do they do it?
So the residency will be 1 year on top. We call it supervised internship. So that will be a 6 + 1 year. And we have, as we said, we the heart of the health campus, where we have a largest public hospital, St. Charles Gardner Hospital, which is next to our medical school. Most of the students do undertake internships there.
All right. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, thanks for touching up on the accommodation. That was the general questions we had, and the scholarships, which is this page. If there are any questions, we will take them very quickly now.
Yeah.
Students, do you have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me? Yeah. So I have a question. First question is so for University of Western Australia, is there an entrance exam like ICAS or anything else?
Okay, so we have a very streamlined process for international students. As you can see on your screen, we focus on the academic performance, in this instance, CBSE grades of year 12.
Okay.
We do not need any entry essays, recommendation letters, or personal statements. You apply directly to UWA, and we assess you against scholarships eligibility.
Okay. So
for programs like medicine, we would need you to do entrance exam. We call it ISAT.
Yeah,
and
ISAT.
There'll be a selection interview as well.
Okay. So for medicine, you're saying you need ISAT, right?
Exactly.
You need ISAT as well as interview.
Correct. And medical applications close 1 year prior to the intake. So we have intake in February each year, and the applications close on 31st of May of the previous year.
31st May previous year. Okay. 31st May previous year. And you need CBSE grades 12th, and also you need, so I'm asking about medicine. I'm asking about medicine. 31st May previous year, CBSE grades 12, ISAT as well as interview, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there, do you all provide, is there any coaching that you know for ISAT?
No,
available in India?
No.
No coaching in India. Okay, fine.
With medicine, you will also need to provide an IELTS score of 7 with no bands below 7.
Okay, 1 second. IELTS of 7.
And no bands
7 across the board, yeah.
No bands below 7. Okay.
Ritwik, can you very quickly take us through the general entry requirements for the CBSE board? This is the CBSE board students.
Yep, I'll just put it up on the screen now. See, for CBSE, if you would like to apply for, let's say, a Bachelor of Biomedical Science or a Bachelor of Commerce or a Bachelor of Science, we look at best 4 grades, okay? Yep. Now, CBSE results are generally recorded as later grades. For example, A1 equals 5, A2 equals 4.5, B1 equals 3.5, and so on. Happy to share this on the chat window if you need.
Yes,
but
please.
The point is, we look at the best 4 externally examined subjects. In a nutshell, if you're talking about entry requirements of 12 points, it translates percentage-wise maybe about 65%.
Okay. And what about medicine?
Yeah, I'll just move on to the next one. So medicine, it's 18 points. I think it's pretty close to 90% and above.
90%, okay. Yes. Okay, and you also have foundation pathways, right? If students do not directly qualify?
Exactly. So that's what my next plan was. So students who are not able to meet, let's say, those 12 points that we need to get into a Bachelor of Commerce, They can come through pathway. So we have a UWA foundation, we have a diploma programs. They can enroll into a diploma of commerce, finish first year of diploma of commerce at our Taylor's College in Perth, and then transition into a second year of bachelor's degree of commerce, okay? So with this pathway, students are not missing out on extra year. They still finish their Bachelor of Commerce in the 3-year duration as they would do through the direct pathway, okay? So yes, we do have these options available for students who did not meet direct entry requirements into our bachelor's degrees at UWA.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thanks for that, Rutvik. Are there any other questions? We have a couple of minutes left.
Yeah, I have one question. So you mentioned that there would be an entrance exam, ISAT. So we have, and we've actually read on the net that ISAT has been integrated with UCAT. Is that true?
Is the UCAT for UK?
Yes.
Right.
It has. So it has been, so it's like the common, is it a common UCAT exam which you will be taking, or is there still a separate ISAT exam?
There is a separate ISAT exam. So as of now, we have not been notified that they have been integrated into one. So I would still stick with ISAT for Australia.
Okay, fine. And you mentioned that there is a residency available for all the medical students. This would be 6 plus 1 year, right? The 7th year.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I will try to get you information on if you can do preparation for ISAT here in India. Let me get back to you. Yeah, just stay connected.
Please. Yes.
I've put our contacts in the chat a little earlier, so you can get in touch with us or get in touch with Anindita, madam. She will get you in touch with us.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we can take one more question before we move on to the next university.
Yeah, Rutvik, a quick question on this. Somewhere I did see in your website, there was a mention of actuarial sciences, but in your presentation, it didn't talk specifically of that. Do you have a course?
We don't.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, I just like to know the rankings of your engineering courses. Like, what are the world rankings, and also what's the timeline for applying for your college?
Yeah, let me just go back to the semester start dates. So in terms of engineering program for environmental science and engineering, we are in top 30 in the world. For civil engineering as well, we are ranked 30th in the world. For the rest of the specialization we discussed, I don't have rankings in that chronological order, but definitely environmental engineering and civil engineering, we do stand out quite heavily globally. In terms of the start dates, most of you might be looking at starting in July intake. So taking an example of 2021 intake, our application deadline is 31st of May, and our acceptance deadline is 18th of June, and the orientation week starts from 19th, where student needs to be on campus provided borders open, and the semester starts on 26th July. Now, I understand that CBC results are usually released in mid-May or towards the end of May. We have a provision where students can accept the offer conditionally by providing their predicted grades. And then once the final results of CBC are released, we will confirm you the scholarship's eligibility. Now, why do we have this on the offer is because if you conditionally accept the offer, you can progress with your visa application, and it ensures that you receive the visa in time for you to arrive on campus. Visa processing times can vary anywhere between 2 weeks up to 7 weeks. And hence to students, for some reason whose exam results have been delayed, can do conditional acceptance, and the scholarships will be confirmed later.
All right. Yeah, with regard to those timelines and stuff, I mean, you can connect to us and the visa. Okay, I think we'll bring this to an end. Thank you, Rotwik, so much for this. You pretty much covered everything that we wanted to cover, and it is, I mean, so very specific. So thank you for doing that for us. Uh, uh, we will connect you
Thank you.
yeah, students. If you have to connect to Rotwik again, he's on India time too. So you can connect through Anandita Madam to me, and I'll connect you to Ritwik. If you have specific questions, we cannot take everything now.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ritwik. We're gonna
Thank
run.
you,
I mean,
everyone.
you can be part of the poll. So we're gonna run a quick poll for Australia. Jency, if you can run the poll before we get in. Karen, I know Karen, you're in. Thank you for coming in, and we will move to Swinburne University in just a minute. We just run 2 polls before we get into the next presentation. Just to refresh your minds, kids, so you can join the poll. We'll do that in less than a minute. Yeah, Jency, if you can launch the poll. So, like I said, all poll answers are in the presentations. So please go ahead and answer.
Sir, can anyone else check because it's not allowing me to run it?
Yeah, okay, I will do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. This is on the university we just covered. Quickly, okay, 10 seconds to clear it, to vote.
Done.
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 Okay, another 2 seconds. All right, perfect. I'm gonna end it. Yeah, very good. 85% of you said Perth, and that is correct. So you were listening. Very good to know that. Another very quick poll. I'm gonna keep Swinburne for later. All right, let me see how many of you know this, because you should have studied this in school. Here you go.
Done.
What is the capital of Australia?
Done.
This is a close poll. 5 seconds more. Okay. Okay, 42% said Canberra. The rest are divided between Sydney and Melbourne. Yeah, the correct answer is Canberra. Okay, I think we'll so this is gonna be a guess for you, maybe, unless you've done your homework before coming into the poll, into the webinar. And this is on Swinburne University. So here you go, the last one. Where is Swinburne University of Technology located? And we did share, Anandita ma'am just shared the invite to you. And if you did your homework before coming in, you would have definitely known this answer. Okay, here you go. All right, almost half of you said it is Melbourne, and that's the right answer. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks Rotwik again, and Karen, if you can start your video and we'll get you started. Over to you. You will have screening rights right now. So this is, yes.
Thank you very much for inviting me here today to speak to all of you about Swinburne University and give you a little information about us, what programs we offer, some scholarships, and the other information about the university. I'm just going to share my screen now, and we shall start.
Karen, if you can get a little more louder, you're kind of soft to me at least.
Sure.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
So hi everybody, good afternoon. I'm Karen DeMello from Swinburne University of Technology. I am the South Asia Operations Manager for Swinburne, and I'm here to give you a quick little information about Swinburne University. We are a world-ranked university, and as most of you rightly responded to the poll, we are based in Melbourne. We were established
in 1908 as an institute of technology, and then on we've moved to become a university. We are actually a dual sector education provider, which means we offer programs under higher education as well as vocational education. All of our programs are offered under 3 different faculties, which is the Faculty of Business and Law, Faculty of Health, Art and Design, and Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology. We have 3 campuses in Melbourne, which is in Hawthorne, Wantirna and Croydon. And we also have a campus in Malaysia, in Sarawak. All of our higher education programs that are our undergraduate and postgraduate programs are offered at the Hawthorne campus. Now, Hawthorne is 10 minutes away from the Melbourne city centre. We have the Glenferrie train station running through the campus. Anything and everything that a student needs is available within walking distance of the university. It's one of the most lively campuses and definitely student friendly as well. This is a small video about Melbourne, just to give you a feel of what Melbourne is like and what life in Melbourne is like.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a life to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and sing, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah.
The next video that I'm going to show you is on the Swinburne campus, and you will see how beautiful the campus is. Okay, so that was a quick little video on the Swinburne campus. Moving on to our rankings, like I said, we were first established in 1908, but as a university, we are less than 50 years old. But in a short period of time, we've come to become the top 50, under 50 universities in the world as ranked by QS World Rankings. We rank amongst the top 50 in the world for art and design, as per the QS World Rankings, and top 200 for civil engineering, physics, astronomy, education, and media and communications. We're also ranked amongst the top 100 universities in the world as the most international university. In the most recent academic rankings of world universities, we've debuted amongst the top 300 universities in the world, and our Faculty of Business and Law is an AACSB accredited business school, placing us in the top 5% of the business schools in the world. I'm sure most of you who've done your research about studying overseas have realized that programs that are taught overseas require accreditations and recognitions, and all of our programs that we teach are accredited and recognized by the required bodies. So whether you're looking at an engineering program, our programs are accredited by Engineers Australia. If it's an IT program, then it's accredited by Australian Computer Society. Same goes for whether it's design or nursing or teaching or physiotherapy, all of the different programs that we offer at Swinburne. Different levels of education and study areas that we offer. So we have foundation studies that are offered at Swinburne. Foundation studies are ideally for students who would not have completed year 12 in India or CBSE exams in India and would want to start studying at the university immediately after your year 11 in India. Foundation studies are generally 8 months and offered in the stream of arts, social science, business, design, science, engineering. And once you've completed this, you move on to either a direct bachelor's degree or a pathway program, which is offered in the form of Unilink diplomas, which are ideally pathway programs into the bachelor's degree. These Unilink diplomas as well are 8 months in duration and offered in different streams. And then we have the undergraduate programs that are offered. Depending on the program, they would be either 3 years or 4 years in duration. Programs like engineering or psychology are all 4 years in duration. Programs like business, aviation, communication, design, film, television, games, animation, health are all 3 years in duration. Some of our top courses. Now, all that I've done here is I have mentioned the main programs. I haven't mentioned the majors or specialization that a child would undertake, because every program has close to 6 to 7 different majors available under them. For example, if you're looking at Bachelor of Computer Science, then you've got data science, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, software development, software testing, system security, all of these available as a Bachelor of Computer Science. For example, if you're looking at business and want to study Bachelor of Business, then you've got accounting, finance, marketing, logistics, supply chain, human resource management, digital business or digital marketing, which is the new age marketing that everybody's talking about and what is required in today's day and age. So depending on different programs, you've got a wide variety of majors and specializations available. Now, another thing to note, most of our undergraduate programs have the option for a child or a student to study 2 majors within the program. For example, if you're studying Bachelor of Business, then you could ideally choose to do logistics and supply chain and business administration as a major within the 3 years of your studies. If you are, for example, studying health science, then you could choose to do nutrition and psychology as a specialization within or a major within the Bachelor of Health Science. So we've got the options for double majors within a single degree, or the option to do a double degree where you club 2 different degrees together, and that increases the duration of your studies or of your program.
Close to the heart of Melbourne, Swinburne is where thinking and technology meet for innovation. In our state-of-the-art Factory of the Future, industry partners explore ideas for manufacturing next-generation products. At our Digital Innovation Lab, cutting-edge research integrates digital technologies into health, manufacturing, social science, and smart cities. Part of a network stretching from Helsinki to Shanghai, our design factory lets minds from all disciplines co-create and address complex problems in society. Digitisation and Industry 4.0 means that the workplace of the future will look vastly different, but Swinburne graduates will be ready for it all. We're developing courses founded on digital problem solving, collaboration, interpersonal communication, and leadership skills. We're focusing on building partnerships with institutions, governments, and industries. We're achieving excellence in providing offshore teaching programs, high-impact executive training solutions, and comprehensive global student mobility initiatives that support educational outcomes in an international context. We share AACSB accreditation with just 5% of the world's top business schools. Times Higher Education ranks us in the top 400 universities globally. We put our students' experience first, and it shows. 180,000 graduates from every continent can't be wrong about the value of a Swinburne education. With partners in over 40 countries and a proven track record internationally, we are so much more than just a university. Swinburne has a truly global presence, and we look forward to working with you.
So we've spoken in the video about our partnerships across the world, with whether it is with different universities or organizations. And this is something that I truly believe is the Swinburne advantage. All of our undergraduate programs that we offer at Swinburne University, as well as the postgraduate programs, have the option or have some amount of industry or work integrated learning inculcated into the program. So whether you're looking at the option that we offer to students for professional degrees or professional placements, or accreditation placements that come as a part of your undergraduate degrees that are accredited. For example, Bachelor of Nursing has about 400 hours of accreditation placement that a child needs to undertake at different hospitals during their program within the 3 years of their education, or whether you're looking at an industry-linked project as a part of your curriculum. All of this helps a child understand what comes next. How do you deal with real-world problems and not just study for the sake of studying without being able to implement what you study in the workplace. We have now, all of this doesn't come easily. It comes because we have that industry connect, because we encourage our students to go out of their way, work on projects, and we also believe in something called as interdisciplinary projects. For example, if you are a Bachelor of Design Architecture student, then your project and the team that you work with on a project would not just be within the Bachelor of Design Architecture program, but you would work with students and faculty from projects, on projects across different disciplines. That is with the team from civil engineering, construction, structural engineering, because only when you work together do you learn how to implement projects in the real world. Mentioned over here are some of our industry partners. Now at Swinburne, we also have something called as co-learn and co-teach, where we work with different industry partners to teach some of the subjects or units in a curriculum. For example, we work with Facebook to deliver or teach some of our subjects in programs like business analytics, in programs like digital marketing. We work with Bendigo Bank to deliver subjects or teach subjects under finance or fintech or financial technologies, which is the new day and age word right now. Visualization, data visualization is taught in conjunction with Tableau. And these are just some of the industry partners that we have that I have mentioned over here.
The Connecting with Industry event is a very vibrant event. We hold it each year. We bring our industry hosts on campus and give them the opportunity to network with our students who will in the near future be looking for a professional placement opportunity. The industry hosts pitch themselves to the students. It's all about giving the students the opportunity to understand what placement and employment opportunities they could have with that industry host.
What I really enjoy about these university events is for the student to see a face behind the organisation. So if you like that culture that you're receiving through that interaction, go for it.
This is our second year with Connecting with Industry. We love it. It's a really good chance for us to have fast conversations with lots of different students. We found 3 of our junior consultants from here.
My advice for students in particular would be to ask as many questions as you possibly can. Bring a list with you if you really want to. I think it shows us as industry professionals a lot about you and what you're interested in and what you're looking for.
My experience at MEMCO, probably the best thing that I've ever done. To be able to talk to the people in the industry is a really clear and precise way to decipher which company you'd like to work with.
I think tonight's a great opportunity for students to start to understand the kinds of firms, what their expertise is and what might interest them in their career, and forge a really clear way forward together.
So the Connecting with Industry event is organized at least twice a year, and this is organized at the university level, where we bring in different industry partners to help students connect with the industry, understand what opportunities lie ahead of them in the industry. And this is conducted at the university level. There are other different industry networking events that are conducted within your program, and this would ideally happen or be conducted within a faculty, which means, for example, if you're a bachelor's of engineering student, as a final year assignment or a project, you definitely need to undertake an industry project where you will work with a team on a specific project, whether it is resolving a problem, coming up with a new solution, coming up with a new product. And at the end of the year, all of your projects are ideally put on display for different industry partners, and acts as an opportunity for students to get picked up for different opportunities available with our industry partners. So entry requirements, different programs have different entry requirements. For a student who is undertaking CBSE exams year 12, depending from program to program, a minimum entry requirement would be 65% in your year 12 in the best of 4 subjects. Programs like engineering, psychology, law, film and television would require higher entry requirements. For example, psychology requires 85% in year 12. Engineering requires 75%. Film and television would ideally require 90% and above in year 12. So different programs have different entry requirements. What you need to remember is that IELTS exam, or in place of that TOEFL or PTE, are exams that are compulsory English language ability tests that need to be undertaken to be able to get into a program. We offer different scholarships at Swinburne University. All scholarships are merit-based scholarships, which means ideally it would depend on your year 12 results. Now, you do not need to apply for these scholarships separately. Your application will directly be assessed for a scholarship on the basis of your year 12 results once you submit your documents to us. This table explains what is the year 12 result that is ideally expected of you. Whether you've undertaken CBSE, Cambridge A-levels or IB diploma, that does not matter at the moment, and the corresponding scholarship amount. So ideally students who've scored 95% and above could be eligible for a 75% tuition fee scholarship in each year of study at Swinburne. Student support services. So we've got a wide variety, or a number of student support services that are available to all of our students at Swinburne, whether it is careers and employability, something that I've just shared with you, study and learning support, accessibility services for students who may require that extra help, whether it is in terms of academic help or whether it is in terms of coping with studies, living away from home. All of these different services are available. Health and well-being, legal advice. We've got close to 100 different clubs and student organizations on campus that you could be a part of. The 24-hour study access areas are available for students as well. This video is about living on campus and on-campus accommodation at Swinburne.
My favorite part about living on campus would be the community feel that comes with it. There's always events going on, always something new happening.
So you could be going somewhere that's quite close by and meet 4 mates on the way, which is like an amazing feeling.
First transitioning after leaving the house for the first time was a bit intimidating because you have to basically discover what it's like to be independent and live by yourself.
What I thought was it's going to be weird because I don't know what their culture is. I don't go out that much, I don't party that much, so I won't get along with a lot of people. But it completely turned out the other way around.
I think what surprised me most about coming to campus was how easy it was to fit in and how simple it was to get that family feel.
Swinburne offers different types of accommodations, like you can have 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, a studio apartment as well.
Oh, I like my room. I've really personalised it through like the posters, glow-in-the-dark stars and photos.
Within all of the main buildings, it's locked and the only way you can get in is with your own personal key card. And then there's the security head office, probably 100 metres from where you live.
Everything's quite convenient, like it's a bit of a microcosm.
It's just a 200-metre walk straight to the train, and then it's a 10-15 minute train ride to the city.
My favorite thing about living on campus is there are people called resident advisors. They're basically like a bridge between the administration and you, so they're always there to help you out no matter what. They can help you out with your studies, they can help you out with your personal life, they can just sit there and talk to you if you want to.
If you have an 8:30 class, you can literally push it to sleeping in until 8:05, 8:10. Just roll out of bed and straight to class. It's so simple. It wasn't as intimidating as I thought. It was a very smooth transition.
The social scene has enabled me to meet like some of my closest friends.
It's definitely fun. Highly recommend.
How to apply? You need to gather all of your documents and submit them to the nearest Swinburne representative office for an assessment, and they'll be able to help you with the application process. If you have any further questions, I'm happy to answer them. These are my details if you want to reach me at a later stage at any point of time. I also have my colleague, Ms. Devjani Das, who's based in Mumbai, and those are her contact details as well. And she would be able to help you with any information that you need at any point of time as well. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for listening to me.
Yes, thank you, Karen, for that. Those videos were amazing. These kids have been here since 10:30, and I'm sure this has added some semblance of sanity to the presentation. And thank you for that. Very, very enlightening. Yeah. Okay. We were supposed to end at 2. We have a couple of minutes left, but we can extend it just for your questions. So anybody who's got questions, please go ahead and ask Karen. She shared her contact details. You can get in touch with us. We've put our contact details in the chat. It will also be with your school counselor, with Anandita Madam. I will send her. I mean, she's got our contacts there. It's also in the emails which we've sent you on the registration, so you can feel free to connect to us. Yeah. So let's very quickly go into questions. Does anybody have questions? You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Karen, I'm just going to do a couple of questions, which were the generic ones. One is on if you can talk about accommodation and accommodations for the facilities that the university has, and very, very proximate cost. And second is on entry requirements. I know you did briefly state that. If you can just repeat that, because just in case somebody missed it.
Sure. Definitely. So accommodation is available on campus for students, especially for students who are under 18. We recommend that you stay on campus. It's very easy for you to hop, skip, and jump into campus for your classes in the morning. Depending on what you're interested in, we have Swinburne residences. We've got studio apartments, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom apartments. And the cost would vary depending on the kind of accommodation you pick. So it would ideally be anywhere between $230 to $300 per week. And accommodation on campus would include rent, electricity, water, internet. All you need to shell out for separately is your groceries and your mobile bills. But that's about it.
Yeah, entry requirements and fees very quickly, approximate fees and
Yes, so depending from program to program, tuition fee ranges from anywhere between 25,000 Australian dollars per year to 37,000 Australian dollars per year. Highest being Bachelor of Engineering at 37,000 Australian dollars per year. And like I said,
Can
anywhere
you
between
speak a little louder?
Sure, sure. Anywhere between 25,000 to 37,000 Australian dollars per year, depending on the kind of program that you've applied for. For example, a Bachelor of Engineering honors would be 37,000 Australian dollars per year. Entry requirements would vary again between different programs. However, programs like Bachelor of Business, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Media and Communication have the basic entry requirement of 65% best of 4 subjects from your CBSE exams.
Yeah, may I know what is the fees for masters in computer science or in cybersecurity?
Sure, the Masters of Cybersecurity is 36,000 Australian dollars per year.
Yeah, that's about 18 lakhs, 18.5 lakhs a year. Yeah. It's a 2-year program.
And what kind of salary package students got after completing this MS course in computer science and cybersecurity?
So ideally, if you're looking for a student who's had prior work experience, and on the basis of the work experience, they're then looking for opportunities in Australia. Salary packages could start from anywhere about 70,000 and up, depending on the work experience and the kind of job opportunities that they're looking for. Cybersecurity and data science at the moment are some of the highest paying jobs in Australia.
So it is 70,000 Australian dollar or US dollar?
Yes, Australian dollar, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Jency, I think you have some questions in the chat. Can you ask them? Because I can't access the chat.
Yes, sir. So it is one of them have asked that what are the placement opportunities?
Correct. So I'm not sure if any of the other universities have mentioned anything about placements to you till now, but just to give you an understanding, the concept of placement doesn't exist in the sense that we speak about in India, where companies come on campus. There's 3-4 days of interview where all students sit for the interviews, and then there are job offer letters that are handed out to you. That concept does not exist. So the universities have a career services cell on campus. The career services and employability cell will ideally guide a student in terms of understanding what opportunities are available, where do you apply, how do you apply, what do you say in your interview. So at Swinburne, we also do mock interview training, getting you to understand what's okay to say in an interview, what's not okay to say in an interview. What should your email ID be? Ideally students don't understand the basics of what an professional email ID is. We've had applications from students who say naughtynickel@gmail.com, which is not professional. You're definitely not going to get a job on the basis of that email ID. And understanding what work ethics in Australia is like. So there's a lot of back-end work that goes in helping the student understand what opportunities are available and how do they go about it. Apart from that, the career services team will guide you in terms of telling you these are the job opportunities available, apply here, 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 here. A lot of these students will also get opportunities on the basis of in the industry partners that they worked with as a part of their projects during the bachelor's degree that they've studied with us. So there are different opportunities available, different channels available, and the university helps the student as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it also depends on how much effort has been put in by the student in making sure that they make the best use of the facilities available.
Can you touch a bit on the scholarships and what criteria?
Sure. We offer anywhere between 10% to 75% of tuition fee scholarship in each year of study. This is academic merit-based scholarship available to students. You do not have to apply for the scholarship separately. Once you submit your application and your academic documents, your application gets assessed directly for the scholarship. 75% scholarship is offered to students who have scored a 95% and above in your year 12 in the best of 4 subjects, and a 50% scholarship and above is offered to students who've scored 90% and above in the best of 4 in your year 12.
Yeah, those are substantial. Those are substantial scholarships. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Can we submit our SAT scores instead of our IELTS scores?
Unfortunately not, because it's compulsory as set out by the Department of Home Affairs that you need to have an English language ability test result only, and the acceptable English language ability test results as set out by the Department of Home Affairs is either IELTS, TOEFL or PTE.
Are there possibilities for waivers on IELTS based on English scores at the 12th?
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not, yeah. Okay, so you don't have that as the way it is in New Zealand, but Australia you will have to definitely know. There are the three stages of the application, your application, the GT, and then the visa. We will guide you on all of that. Yeah, once you get to I'll just top up on what she said on the placements. We have a concept of placements in India. I think it's atrocious. They do not call it placements there, but students, you and parents who are listening, your kids become very highly employable anywhere in the world if you're able to get into a university like Swinburne or UW or Tasmania or Victoria or Lincoln, the ones we had today, or anywhere down there, right? They become highly employable because they are able to communicate better. They, like she said, they even teach you how to get an email ID. It's one of the major flaws. Even I see our students doing that, and we don't allow them to use such email IDs in an application. Fortunately, we do that screening here, but your kids will become far more employable than if they had to study here or anywhere else. Yeah, so it's not placement as such, but students are getting the jobs. One of the videos showed a career fair that is conducted by the Career Services Division. You've seen how it happens. That's how it is. Okay, it's not the way it's done at the IIMs and the IITs here. It's very, very different. That's where students automatically gel in and become employable with employers there. Yeah.
Just one more thing that I wanted to add. If you do go on the Swinburne website and you have a look at the programs available, for example, if you're looking at Bachelor of Computer Science, then you've got 2 options. You've got Bachelor of Computer Science as well as Bachelor of Computer Science Professional. And when a program gets the professional tag at Swinburne, in that a student has the option of taking up a 6 months internship or a 1-year placement, which means this increases the duration of your program. So if you were going to study a 3 years program, it would ideally become 3 years, 6 months if you're doing an internship, or a 4-year program if you're doing a professional placement. And now what this ideally means is that this is not offered to all students. This is offered to students on the basis of merit after they've completed the year 2 of their studies at Swinburne. They have to apply for the professional placement option. They get to do that. They have to apply for the professional placement option. They need to have scored a minimum of 70% and above in the first 2 years of their studies, and they will undertake different interviews conducted by different companies and industry partners. And they get that opportunity to either do a 6 months internship or a 1-year paid placement within the program. So this will increase the duration of their program from either 3 years to 3 years, 6 months, or 3 years to 4 years. Now, students can't apply for the professional aspect of it right from here in the beginning. However, it can be applied for after you've completed 2 years of your bachelor's degree. And after that, so after your 4th semester, you will undertake the professional placement option.
Right. Okay.
Sir, there is one more question here. They just wanted to ask that what is the deadline for submitting the marks and applying for the admission?
Okay, so I'm guessing ideally you would apply for the August intake next year. So our intake starts not in July, but in August, which means it gives you plenty of time to be able to get your CBSE results and accept your offer and apply for your visa as well. So the course starts in August and the last date to apply would be in June.
Okay, yeah, I think we will end there. I'm just going to share our contact details here on screen for those who missed this at the start. You'll also find it in the chat box, or you can take a pic of this and keep it with you. You can connect to us through our website, to the phone numbers, through our social media. You'll find snippets of this video on YouTube too. I will discuss that with Nandita Madam before. Yeah, do get in touch with us for participating and questions. Karen, I want to thank you before you log off. Thanks for joining us and giving us this presentation, most enlightening considering it was the last one. It was still very refreshing. So thanks for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for people who want to connect directly to Swinburne, do get in touch with us. We will connect you to Karen and her team here, and yeah, we will guide you with the entire process. If you want to talk about counseling separately for your students, for you, and parents for your kids, please get in touch with us.